All right, so a very good evening to everyone. I'm assuming, I'm not technically assuming, I am 100% sure that everyone who's joining live with us, um, either you or your parents, either one of you must be online with us. Thank you very much for joining in today. I know it's quite late in the evening, and we did get a little bit late to start off because we did get students who wanted to join at the last minute. Um, okay, so I think I'm clear to everybody. Great. So as we all know, all of you are current medical students at prestigious universities in China. And as everybody knows, with the current COVID-19 situation, that was quite a blunder ever since 2020. Unfortunately, you have been at the receiving end, I would say on a negative receiving end due to online medical education, right? We perfectly understand your situation and what you might be going through, but this is to let you all know that there are opportunities awaiting, universities that are awaiting to support you in order to become a world-class leading doctor and also to be able to pass well in your medical licensing examinations, and countries that are waiting to accept you to their destinations, right? So I'm just going to ask one question. Now, we do have a lot of students joining in with us, first year, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever it may be, and also parents. As this is a crucial webinar, I need to know if it is okay if we do this session bilingually. If it's okay if we do it in Singlish, a little bit of Sinhala and a little bit of English, because we do have parents online as well. What do you all prefer? Do you want us to do it in English or in Sinhala? If you can quickly put a message on the chat box, it would be great. Okay, so we are having answers saying that both of them are okay. Better in bilingual. Okay, so we also do have all the language, I mean, we do have people who can converse into all the three languages. So we have English, Sinhala, and Tamil. Ms. Ashwita will be here if at all you require anything in Tamil, right? A translation wise. Or else we could also have Mr. Intikab and Ms. Ashwita to translate whatever it is in Tamil if you require. Okay, so we have a lot of words for English. So let's do it in a mixed way, right? And if at all you require it to go in Sinhala, we can do that as well. All right. Okay. So IMC Education, to give you a little bit of an introduction, we've been in the industry of placing medical students to a multiple number of countries for the last 25 years. And we do have students who are currently studying medicine in Belarus, Malaysia, Russia, India, Nepal, and the list goes on. We are not operating as a sub-agency because we do not believe to go as a secondary representative. Rather, we believe we have established our name as an official agent. So we are proud to say that IMC is an official agent and also an official representative of the universities that we work with. This means whatever the communication, whatever the professional workforce we have with the university is direct, right? There is no middle party who does the work for us. Rather, we have our ties with the university and we have our own offices which we operate overseas that makes all of our work much more easy. So today in this webinar, I have with me the Deputy CEO of IMC Education, Mr. Amila Kulatunga, who has had experience for consulting medical students for the past, I would say, 8 to 9 years, right? who has experience in consulting medical doctors, in advising medical doctors on the best destinations that could serve their children for the medical education as well. He is now currently operating as a Deputy Chief Executive Officer at IMC, whilst also supporting in counseling sessions to help realize parents and medical students on their doctor dream. On the other hand, we have invited a medical doctor, Dr. Burhanuddin Hamza. We actually want to get a medical doctor here, mostly because we believe you as medical students need to know, if you are transferring to another medical university, what sort of benefits you could get out of it, what sort of challenges you might have to face, what could be the most challenging years of medical college, what subjects you might have to do a little bit of a focus on. So hence why we have invited Dr. Burhanuddin Hamza. He is a past student of Lyceum International School, Vattala, and he studied at the Vitebsk State Medical University in Belarus. He performed extremely well in his medical degree, the Doctor of Medicine degree, and obtained the batch top title, where he was awarded the red degree by the government, by the Republic of Belarus. And in the year 2017, when he came to Sri Lanka to sit for his ERPM exam, the Axixin examination, which we all very well know of, he was ranked among the best top 10 performers. He is currently working at the Kalubovila Teaching Hospital at the respiratory unit, the COVID HU, currently looking after the COVID patients at Kalubovila hospitals as well, and supporting us in your transfer options too. So could I please have Mr. Amila Kulatunga and Dr. Burhan Hamza to please switch on your videos. Mr. Amila and Dr. Burhan, could we please have you switch on your cameras? And if you could please speak, I could make you, I could pin your profile onto Zoom.
I have already logged on.
All right, just give me a second. So to everyone who is joining with us, we have very good news where universities have approved your transfer credit options. But this webinar will explain to you how exactly a transfer works and how exactly your applications were evaluated, because we received 25 documents of students, and we have very good news to share with you as well, with which Mr. Amila will do the needful. Mr. Amila, over to you. Just give me a second. I will make you the host. All right, Mr. Amila, you can go ahead.
Good evening to everyone. I think Mandarika kick-started with a little bit of introduction about IMC. I will quickly show you our website just to have an understanding about our operation. So then gradually we'll move into our main subject, right? So hope everyone can see our website.
If you can, please do drop a text on the chat box. That would be great.
Okay, good. You can see. Okay, so IMC is one of the most veteran medical placement education agents in Sri Lanka. And we are the people who are working with most number of universities in the world as an agent operating in Sri Lanka. So as destinations, we do place students in the Republic of Belarus. And when it comes to Asian countries, Malaysia, India, and Nepal. And in Europe, we do work with Latvia, Riga State University, and Russia are also few universities, right? And when it comes to our team, we have very versatile people working with us in terms of like academics, like professionals, doctors, and all. And this is our honorary chairman. He's Dr. Gamunu Dias, and he's also the first degree he has obtained in Belarus, and currently he's a general physician at National Hospital Colombo, as well as the visiting scientist at the University of Texas, Arlington, USA. So then this is myself. I serve as the Deputy Chief Executive Officer, and Intika Suho, Chief Operating Officer. And then we do have like work with some Sri Lankan professors, because we do conduct pre-university programs, which helps our students to place in like countries like Canada, Australia, Malaysia, to do medicine as well. So we work with Professor Inoka Pereira and Dr. Dilani Artakar. They are serving as lecturers and department heads in government universities, state universities in Sri Lanka. And then we do have medical education consultants like Dr. Burhan, and he will be also talking to you all today. And then we do have foreign officers. Now, we are not just sending students and washing our hands off. So our services for the entire period of study. So we do have, especially in Belarus, we do have foreign officers in the cities of Vitebsk, Gomel, and Grodno, right? So that's a brief introduction about us, and I'll quickly open presentation regarding to the seminar. Can you all see the presentation? If you can see, just put a thumbs up on the chat box. Okay, great. Give me a second. Now they have given a green light saying that. So sorry. So we'll back on the presentation. So we were talking about the SLMC green light regarding this. So the process is you have to furnish your transcript and all the credentials like O-level, A-levels, passport to the university, which we have already done. We have contacted several universities and tried to get the credit transfers. And then once you are offered a place with a credit transfer, then again, you have to individually apply. We can help you out to process your documents to SLMC to get the green light. If you want to practice medicine in Sri Lanka, that is very, very important. So, you know, SLMC is predominantly rejecting the fact that the Chinese students are doing especially clinical training online, and the rest of the world also, we still don't know whether they are accepting online internship online clinicals, up to what extent they are accepting online, because this is the after the COVID-19 pandemic, everything is new to everyone, right? Because of that, even the transfer, now you might say, I am in the 5th year, why I can't get into the internship directly? Okay, I am in the 4th year, so why can't I start with 4th year? So I mean, I know like you have been going through a difficult time, but you have to understand your degree should not be just a paper. When the trans is done, it should be done properly in a way that will be recognized by many parts of the world, in many countries. Otherwise, your degree will become just a paper if other countries or Sri Lanka would not accept that qualification. That has to be done properly and carefully. So that is very important, right? So I just explained about IMC Education just a while back, and we are sending students all around the world. We are the people who are sending most number of medical students from Sri Lanka abroad to different diverse destinations, right? And not only that, we do have officers to look after students, as I explained you earlier. On top of that, on completion of your program, you might need to work in Sri Lanka, you might need to work in the UK, you might need to work in USA, you might need to work in Australia. So we do have partner organizations who prepare you for the respective examination. For example, in Australia, we have a partnership with Alan Roberts Group to train the students for Australian Medical Council exam. And we have a few partners in the UK as well. And we do work with Lecturer as well as Kaplan to train the medical students for the USMLE examination. So our solution is actually a total solution. We are not just sending you off and ask you to look after by yourself, right? Okay, so these are the criteria what you should be pretty much emphasized on, right? So the recognition. This is the most important thing. I think you have already entered a medical school. You can understand what I am saying. Sometimes when I tell it to a freshman, they will not understand the gravity of this. So in order to practice as a medical doctor all around the world, you need to have a license. In order to obtain the license, your degree should be recognized if you want to work in Sri Lanka by Sri Lanka Medical Council, and if you want to work in the UK by United Kingdom General Medical Council, if you want to work in USA, Education Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates, and if you want to work in Australia, Australian Medical Council, and the respective countries' medical council. So recognition is pretty much important. The program, structure of the program, whether it is a MBBS, whether it's a MD, how the clinical training is done. So those things are pretty important. And nowadays, there's a pretty important factor. The third one is the cost, because we know dollar rate is going sky high. So going to a cost-effective university will ensure your sustainability in that particular university. We all know your parents, the hard-earned money of them. So as far as the university is cost-effective, and it is pretty much a benefit in time to come, right? And the lecture panel, of course. And the fifth one is another very important thing, which is the employability and graduate outcomes. You know, some of the destinations where the Sri Lankan students are going now, and some of the destinations where agents are promoting now, there are no graduates working in Sri Lanka who graduated from that particular university and working in Sri Lanka. But you know, in Belarus, the students have gone from 1982 up to now. So it's 40 years of history with Sri Lanka. Malaysia, there are many universities like Manipal University, IMU and all, where the Sri Lankan students have really done well during the ERPM examination. So you need to have those credentials. I mean, I can tell you this university is really good, that university is really good, but where are the evidence? If the students have come here and passed our exam, if the students have gone to UK, passed the General Medical Council exam, if the students have gone to US and passed USMLE, then you have the credentials. Okay, our students have succeeded in this university. So that is a very, very important factor to consider. And then the structure of the program, right? Some universities, they have graduate program. I think the Chinese students can't match with the graduate programs because you need to have completed a pre-medical degree and the MD is just 4 years. This is a North American system, basically practiced in Canada, USA, and some part of Australia and the Caribbean islands like St. George's University, right? And then the Eastern Europe, like Belarus, Russia, and so those countries, they have the MD program, doctoral medicine. It's 6 years of training and the internship, right? So as far as the Sri Lanka is concerned, Sri Lanka Medical Council recognizes a degree program of a duration of 5 years or more. 5 years or more, right? So if you have completed a degree for a duration of 5 years or more, you don't have to do an internship before coming to Sri Lanka, right? And none of the internships done outside the country is not recognized by Sri Lanka as well. So you can complete the program and you can write the ERPM examination in Sri Lanka and then do the internship. But if you want to directly go to UK, directly go to Australia, right? Having an internship would also be handy, always be handy, right? So now if you go to a country like Belarus, you can do internship in that country, which I will be explaining you a little later. And then the MBBS program, that's a Commonwealth system. It's just 5 years. If you want, you can do the internship. If you are practicing, you can do the internship. Then everyone equally has the right to go for the postgraduate qualifications, right? And for the transfer students, obviously during the credit transfer, so recognition is absolutely important. And I will explain all these things, and they will consider the online education factor as well. What up to what extent you have done online education, up to what extent the universities has given credit transfers for online education, right? And whether the SLMC will accept that. If the SLMC will not accept this, what is your backup plan, right? Because having a medical degree just on a paper would not take you anywhere. Recognition should be there. You should be able to practice in Sri Lanka, preferably, or in UK, USA, Australia. So otherwise, I mean, your medical degree will not take you anywhere, right? So General Medical Council 50% rule, I will explain you later what it is, right? And the structure of the program and the differences of curriculums, how the curriculum is matching with your curriculum, and most importantly, language requirement, right? Because now we all know, right? We met some 5th year students, we met 4th year students, 3rd year students. So you have learned Chinese language, Mandarin, right? Now, if you go to any other destination, right, you have to learn the respective country native language. Otherwise, I mean, you know very well, since you are a medical student at the moment, otherwise you will not be able to communicate with patients. So you have to make sure that you will have enough time to get this language training, right? So if a university is given you a credit transfer, make sure that you have adequate number of hours to do the language training, not during the clinical training. Now, let's say if some university is saying, okay, the language training will be given during the clinical training. That means like after starting the clinical training. So how are you getting the history from the patient? How you are talking to the patient, how the diagnosis process is happening, right? It will become an obstacle definitely. So the universities, when they are giving the credit transfer, they will consider how much of allocation should be given for these students to learn our language. But most of the universities in the world are conducting the program in English medium. That is not a problem at all, English medium. So you have in China, you have learned in English medium. If you go to any other country also, I mean, they will teach you in English. But the native language should be mastered in order to talk to the patient, right? And the cost and the internship. Now, internship is pretty much important, right? What if answer is not accepted by SLMC by any chance, right? So can you go to another country? How the internship would become really important if you are transferring to another country. So I will discuss it later. And other thing is, what kind of subjects which cannot be transferred. For example, you can see only the allopathic medicine modules will be transferred. Allopathic medical medicine modules, I think you all know, like, you know, the general biology, chemistry, anatomy, physiology, and the other not allopathic modules, just like traditional Chinese medicine, physiology, and not herbology. Those kind of subjects cannot be transferred under the international curriculums, right? And other thing is, when you apply, now you will be on a twinning program, right? You will be on a twinning program because you have done maybe half, maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3 years in China, and now you are going to another university, right? So it's, as I told you earlier, it's, don't take it very lightly. Don't take it very lightly. Now this information, I got it from General Medical Council website, GMC website. You all can go and do some research on this. And PMQ, primary medical qualification, right? If the primary medical qualification, your medical qualification is done in multiple destinations, they will dig into all details. They will dig into all details, how the mapping has been done, how the transfer has been done, whether the two universities are recognized, and all these things, and the contact details of all these things, right? So it should be done in a very systematic way. Okay, so I was telling you the 50% rule. I would explain this 50% rule. Now, when it comes to the GMC, General Medical Council recognition, let's say you are on a twinning program. You have transferred from one university to another, right? General Medical Council will see whether you have done at least 50% of your credits, 50% of your hours, total hours in the degree awarding university. Now, let's say you have gone to Tianjin. Let's say you have gone to X and Y university in China, right? Now you are going to transfer into another destination, right? So GMC will only approve you if you have done more hours in that particular university. Now, let's say you have done 4 years in China. You are doing only the final year in a university. I mean, you will have to face a lot of difficulties when you want to get the registration on General Medical Council USA, because you will not fulfill 50% rule. There's one university on exceptional cases which is approved by going beyond 50% rule because of the scholarship issue. There's a university called St. George's University in Caribbean island in Grenada. So they have this, you have to do first 2 years pre-med and then the final 4 years the medical degree, right? That's the American system, right? So they have a beautiful scholarship program. It's a very, very expensive university, but they have this beautiful scholarship program called Keith B. Taylor's scholarship program, right? According to the Keith B. Taylor's scholarship program, you do 1 year in Grenada, 1 year in UK, and the final 2 years, either clinical training, either in UK or either in USA. But where they are going to get the degree from, it's a university in Grenada. So out of the 4 years of the medical studies, they will only study in Grenada for 1 year. So I am repeating it again. First year in Grenada, second year in the UK, third year and fourth year either in UK or USA. So they are in the degree awarding country, they are only remaining only 1 year. So these students were rejected by GMC, General Medical Council. Even though they are doing clinicals in the UK, even though they have been in UK for 3 years out of 4 years, because they are not meeting the 50% rule where they should remain in the degree awarding country or should do more hours in the degree awarding country, more than 50%. You know, very famous university, Melaka Manipal Medical College. Now, of course, the total program is delivered in Malaysia. Early, it was a twinning program. 2.5 years in India, 2.5 years in Malaysia, right? They also, even though the degree is finishing in Malaysia, the degree is issued by Manipal, India, right? Because of this factor, they made sure that more hours, more than 50% of hours, the students are doing in India, degree awarding country. Now, let's say in your case, if you transfer after 4 years for the final year in somewhere, you are not meeting the 50% criteria because your degree will not be awarded in China by Chinese universities, but in a different destination, right? So you have to take, I know you would love to have like from 4th year to continue from the 4th year, but now you have burnt your hand once, don't you burn your hands for the second time, right? This decision is very, very crucial in your life. Okay. So this is a 50% rule. Everywhere it's yeah, right? Okay. And the other thing is, now what happens if your degree transfer is not accepted by Sri Lanka Medical Council, right? Now, then you have to think about UK, Australia, New Zealand, USA, those countries, right? Now, if I told you, if you are applying, now let's say you transfer to a country, more than 50% of your studies will be done in that particular country, right? But now you can't come to Sri Lanka because Sri Lanka, this is a hypothetical situation where you will not accept the transfer is not accepted by Sri Lanka Medical Council, right? Then you should have a place to work, right? In a major destination. We are not like finding here and there. We are just focusing on Australia, UK, and those countries where most students are going because you can succeed in those countries. Again, I sourced this information from General Medical Council UK. You can see your internship should be done in a public hospital. Now, let's say you complete your degree, but you can't come to Sri Lanka. Then your destination would be UK, Australia, and all. But let's say if you are going to UK, you have to face the PLAB exam. If you are going to Australia, you have to face Australian Medical Council exam. Let's say you pass the exam. No problem. I mean, if you are competent enough, you can pass the exam. Then the next hurdle is to obtain an internship in that particular country. Now let's take UK, right? Let's say take UK. Now, let's say in 2024, for example, there are 1,000 internship slots available. There are 1,000 internship slots available. Let's say there are 700 students who will be graduating in year 2023. So out of 1,000 internship slots, it's a mandatory requirement for General Medical Council, the foundation office in UK, to give internship for these 700 students. So only 300 internship slots will be left for foreign students. That means international medical graduates. So, but for these 300 internship slots, you will get about 1,500 applications. 1,500 applications to get into foundation year 1, internship year 1. Okay. So 300 slots are only available. So how would they filter you? They will see how well you have done your medical degree, how well you have done your exams, the UK exams. So there is a filtration process. Not everyone will be eligible to obtain an internship in the UK. let's say you will not get an internship in UK. You will not be counted for this 300, right? But you are in the balance 1200, right? So you can't come to Sri Lanka also. So where are you going to do the internship? That is also very important. When you are doing your transfer, make sure that you go to a university where you can do an internship as well. Internship in a public hospital, right? In a public hospital on guaranteed basis. Not okay, if we have slots, we can give you the internship, not like that. And you see whether the country that you are going to, whether there are students who have done the internship and working in UK, working in Australia, working in other countries. You find it out. So those things are very, very important, right? Okay. So those are the basic disciplines what I have shown you. Those are the basic things you have to keep in your mind. So from IMC perspective, we can offer, I think we have already offered a few students the credit transfer things. So far, we have got Chinese students transfer options after third year. Even you have done, I mean, we got like transcript of the fourth year, first semester students also. They also got it mapped until the third year only. So they have to start from the third year onwards. Why? Dr. Burhan actually will explain better than me why you should start from the third year, even though you are doing in the fourth year, fifth year. I can tell you definitely because of the 50% rule, you have to start like that. And the second thing is the third year is the most crucial year. Most crucial year. So you have, it's very, very advisable for you to start from the third year onwards. And the language. So you have 1 year to deal with the language which will be strange to you, right? Which will be strange to you, right? And this is, I will show you a video later about the Gomez University. This is the main study. And so they offer 6-year MD program. So you, the 6-year MD program. So they have given transfers up to the third year so far. So you can do the balance 3 years at Gomez State Medical University. 4 years basically, right? Third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, right? Including the most crucial year, because like during the third year, there are very, very important subjects as well as you can master the language gradually. You have 1 year to master your language. So then you, without any issue, you can talk to the patient, you can get the history done. So all these things. And the other thing is, now you have done your first year, second year, and third year. There are small gaps. There might be small gaps because Belarus, the curriculum is little extended. That is an MD program. So there can be some gaps. So this year you will utilize to fulfill those gaps as well, right? Because you know, when you are comparing with MBBS and MD program is little deeper in the subjects like surgery and all. Now in MBBS program, most of in the MBBS programs, you learn about the surgical diseases, right? But not to do minute surgery. So in the MD program, you will be taught, you know, how to do minute surgeries, put incision, put suturing, and all these things. Those additional things will be taught, right? So when it comes to Gomez State Medical University, it's fully recognized in Sri Lanka by SLMC, fully recognized under WHO, Education Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates, ECFMG in United States, GMC UK, and AMC Australia. I will later explain you what this is. This is also very, very important. Gomez State Medical University is recognized by the World Federation of Medical Education, International Agency for Accreditation and Recognition, right? So, and all the other thing is, when you go to Belarus, right? When you go to Belarus, when you study at Gomez State Medical University, the entire clinical training, the entire clinical training will be done in government hospitals. Will be done in government hospital because the university is attached to the government of Belarus. Government of Belarus. So you will be given clinical rotations in the government hospitals. We all know in the government hospitals you can see a lot of patients. So your clinical training can be really sharpened. And also, also the other thing is they have a lot of hospitals under their belt, about 15 to 18 clinical hospitals. So they have discipline-wise clinical stations like pediatric hospital separately, gynecology hospital, cancer hospital separately. So you are not only confined to one hospital where you are looking at patients in each discipline in a small ward. It's different hospitals, right? Other thing is now if you go to a private university, right? Private university, the patients are coming after paying, right? So sometimes they won't allow you to touch even. But here, the patients are not paying. So they are pretty much cooperative and they will work with you for your learning process, right? So the first 3 years, actually the theory subject, the final 3 years, absolutely. And so they will formulate, let's say 100 students are there, and they will formulate in groups. Group will contain on average 10 students. Sometimes it can be 8 and it can be 12 as well, but on average it's 100% English medium, and Russian language will be taught in order to support you during the clinical training, just to talk to the patient and construct a dialogue with them, right? And okay, so the evaluation process. Evaluation process, actually, it's a very good process that assessment process. It's a very good process that they are adopting, and they have continuous evaluation. Continuous evaluation. So you have semester exams in between for each subject. You have like control exams, continuous assessments, right? So you will be assessed throughout the year. Now let's say now a semester exam, they will allocate 50% out of 100. For the continuous assessments also, they will allocate 50%. So your marks 100 will be accumulated 50% from continuous assessment, the other 50% from the final exam, right? They mark you out of 10, right? So if you score 9 out of 10 in a given subject during the continuous assessment, that means 90%, your semester exam will be exempted in that subject, right? Semester exam will be exempted in the subject. Now let's say there are 3 subjects in a semester. There are 3 subjects in a semester. Sometimes if you score all 9 for everything, the whole semester exam will be done, will be exempted. I think I am getting some questions. We'll answer all the questions during the Q&A session, right? In the Q&A session, we give enough time for you to ask any verbal questions or in the on the chat box. Myself and Dr. Burhan will answer all these questions, right? And if you fared really well during the whole degree program, right, the rest of the degree program, you will be awarded a degree called Red Degree. That's an honors degree to mark you as a high achiever. Okay, so this is the academic pathway available in Belarus. In Belarus Medical University, right? So you do 6 years program, so you join in between with your credit transfer, and you have 2 options. If your credit transfer is approved by Sri Lanka Medical Council, option 1, you can come to Sri Lanka, you can actually sit for the ERPM assistant examination. I think most of the students might have already started Dr. Banagala's classes, so you can keep doing that. He's one of the best in Sri Lanka. He is the best in Sri Lanka for ERPM training, right? So you can do the ERPM examination and then after the internship, you career as a medical doctor in Sri Lanka, right? And don't worry, right? You have option number 2 as well. Option number 2 as well, because you are going to state university. under Ministry of Health in Belarus, right? So you will get an internship if you want, right? Otherwise, if you don't want an internship, if your preference is to come to Sri Lanka, you can straight come to Sri Lanka. Don't waste your time in doing internship, because in Sri Lanka, none of the internships done outside Sri Lanka will not be recognized in Sri Lanka, right? Even though I know you are doing an internship in China as well, that will not be recognized in Sri Lanka, right? So if you are going to a foreign country, in order to be more competitive, you can do the internship in Belarus, right? I just showed you a slide that time, right? Where, like, it was mentioned. Okay, this is GMC website. Internship should be done in a public hospital, right? Here, it's a government hospital. You are doing an internship, right? Here you are doing an internship in a government hospital under Ministry of, so that will be recognized. Now, if you are, let's say, if you are going to UK, right? We all know UK internship is 2 years. Foundation year 1, foundation year 2. So if you have a valid government internship done, you can bypass the bottleneck and apply to foundation year 2. You can start straight from foundation year 2, right? That is the advantage you are having. That is the advantage of going to Gomer State Medical University. Why the internship is guaranteed here? Why on guaranteed basis you can take an internship in Belarus, while other countries are struggling to give you an internship? Why? Because of this. Now, this is World Bank data. You can explore this online on Google as well. This is the World Bank data. You can see this shows the clinical capacity of each country, hospital capacity of each country, bed capacity of each country for 1,000 people. 1,000 people. So 1,000 people bed capacity in the UK is 2.8, Australia 3.8, Sri Lanka 3.6, China 4.3, it's 10.8, 10.8, Armenia 4.2, Nepal 0.3, Belarus 10.8. It stands out from all other destinations because it's a Soviet system. They are driven for disaster management, and they have a lot of hospitals to take care of the people. Because of that, you have a lot of slots available in hospitals for doctors, for interns in the government hospitals, right? So this is why you can access this data through World Bank links. So this is why you can get the internship done under government and guaranteed basis in Belarus, right? So then you can apply to UK, US, New Zealand, and all these things. I leave about USA. I leave USA alone because I'll be explaining after doing Gomer State Medical University how easy you have a process to apply to USA, right? And recognition, I told you once as well. It is listed as the World Director of Medical School, maintained by World Health Organization and approved by World Federation of Medical Education. Right, and this is World Health Organization, World Director of Medical School. You can see if you go, I mean, these are self-explanatory, right? So you have internet and all these things. You can check each and everything what I have said online for the credentials, right? If you take Belarus, you can see Gomer State Medical University is listed on World Director of Medical School because there's no problem in working in UK, Australia, Canada, and all these destinations, right? So this is GMC website, General Medical Council website. So you can see they are accepting all qualifications which are listed on World Director of Medical School, right? And Australian Medical Council, you can see Gomer State Medical University as a recognized university. And then this is Canada. If someone is interested in going to Canada, this is like Canadian Medical Council website. You can see they are also using World Director of Medical School to allow international medical graduates to sit for their exam. So Gomer is listed on the World Director of Medical School. Thus, there's no problem in working in those major destinations, right? Okay, so this is very important, right? So when you are questioning, you can ask. If you don't understand this, you can actually question me. These are the latest rules in USA. Latest rules in USA applicable in 2023. Okay. So Education Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. This is absolutely relevant to USA. If you are going to work in the USA, right? Now, if you are applying as a medical doctor, if you are applying as international medical graduates, you have been categorized. You are categorized to different pathways. So you can see where you are going to fit in. Okay, so you can be a very fresh medical graduate, just passing out from the university. You can be a doctor who is registered in a particular country. So all can write United States Medical Licensing Examination. I think you all know about this, USMLE. So after doing USMLE, you can actually apply to the matching process in the US to become a medical doctor and to enter a specialist. We call it residency, the residency program. So when you are applying for the residency program, you are categorized into pathways. There are different pathways, right? So pathway one, okay, already licensed to practice medicine in another country. That means for the pathway one, you have, if you are applying through pathway one, you have to be a registered doctor in a particular country. Now let's say you are allowed to work in Sri Lanka. You can do your ERPM examination and then internship, and you get the full registration. So that is called license to practice medicine in another country. So you have the Sri Lankan license. You can write United States Medical License Examination and work in USA, but it's a very long process. First come to Sri Lanka, then do the ERPM examination, internship, USMLE, and to US. So it's a very lengthy pathway, right? What if you are not approved in Sri Lanka? Let's say your transfer is by any chance not approved in Sri Lanka. So how to work in US is a question, because you don't have license to practice in another country. If you want pathway one also, even though you go to government state medical, that is also possible. You can do the internship in government. You can actually get the registration in Belarus and apply. But that is also a little lengthy pathway. But the next slide, pathway three, sorry, there's another pathway. Pathway 3, medical school accredited by agency recognized by World Federation for Medical Education. Again, pathway 3, medical school accredited by agency recognized by World Federation of Medical Education. There are independent agencies work with World Federation of Medical Education who are going and visiting the universities and doing audits and accredit. So if you study in such a university which is accredited by agency, independent agency recognized by the World Federation of Medical Education, you can apply to the residency program in US under pathway 3. So what's the benefit? You don't have to do an internship. You don't have to be a registered doctor in a particular country. If the university is accredited by such an agency, you just need a degree from that particular university. Just need a degree and USMLE. Just need a degree and USMLE to apply for residency. No internship, no registration in a particular country needed as a prerequisite. Okay. So when it comes to government, this is the certificate. Last year, December, they got approved by the Independent Agency for Accreditation Rating, right, under World Federation of Medical Education. We call it IAAR, Independent Agency for Accreditation and Training, rating, IAAR, under WFME, World Federation of Medical Education. So it fulfills the requirement for pathway 3. Pathway 3. right? That means if you take your credit transfer to Government State Medical University, if Sri Lanka is not accepting you, if you want straight to go to US, that is possible. You just need to do USMLE. So since the university is approved under WFME and accredited by IAAR, direct pathway 3 is possible, right? So going to government, how many pathways will be open? If you are approved by Sri Lanka Medical Council, you can work in Sri Lanka. If you don't approve under Sri Lanka Medical Council, internship is available in Government State Medical University under Ministry of Health. So you can do the internship and go to UK, Australia, and USA. It's pretty easy. You don't have to do internship even. You just do the degree, the exam, USMLE exam, and without any internship or prior registration under pathway 3, you can apply. So it's the total benefit package what you are getting, right? So I don't think any university would have. Now I saw, because of this fact, actually I was trying to explain. I saw one university in Armenia, the party promoting in Sri Lanka, they have put a post, don't go to Belarus, and there's a war and all. Because of, I mean, you know, there's a very cheap competition among the agents in Sri Lanka. I don't want to fall into that category, but in order to clarify these issues, I will talk about that as well. Now I told you, this is self-explanatory as well. You can go to ECFMG ECFMG and check the credentials what I told you. Medical schools eligible for 2023 pathways, right? If you take a government list there, but even Armenia as a country even not listed. Not the university, not the particular university we are talking about. Even as a country, it is not listed there for pathway 3, right? So you will not get anything. And the war, there's no war in Belarus. I can guarantee you, you can talk to any student in Belarus, and Dr. Burhan is there, who's a graduate in Belarus. There's no war in Belarus. Now let's say in Sri Lanka you are studying at University of Colombo. There's a war in India. So are you giving up the studies at University of Colombo? No. But there are different parties supporting the war. I mean, war is between Russia and Ukraine, right? Russia and Ukraine. So there are people who are supporting Russia, there are people who are supporting Ukraine, but anyone doesn't want to burn their hands by putting their head into the war. Then it will become world war. So I mean, all the people here in the modern world are very knowledgeable, and they don't want another crisis. So no country will get involved in the war, basically. So there's an ethnic war between, like, you know, the Russia and Belarus, Russia and Ukraine. So that is between them only. So there's no other party, but you know, by words, by giving certain aids, different countries are, you know, helping different parties. That's a different ball game. But Belarus, it's absolutely safe. But because of the war, entire world is suffering at the moment, because Russia is a country where they supply like gases and the fuel for most part of the world, right? Russia is a country where they buy most of our tea, right? So it's a loss for everyone. Inflation is going up because they don't have enough fuel in the world. In America, the inflation has gone up drastically. In Belarus also, internship has gone, the inflation has gone up. The entire region, Europe, UK, and all these things, even that has been impacted to us as well, right? And but safety side, there's no problem at all, right? Ukraine also, it's a country where they grow a lot of grains and, you know, a lot of dairy items, a lot of food. So there's a food crisis actually coming I mean, which will be affected to the entire world because of this war. But safety wise, there's no problem in Belarus. And only issue now the students all around the world is having to transfer money, right? Because in Sri Lanka, we don't have foreign currency at the moment. But we make sure, now I told you, we have officers in Gomel, Grodno, Vitebs, all three. We make sure there are alternative mechanisms that we advise the students to take, and we help in that also to transfer money and pay the tuition fee on time. So we can help you out for that. That's the only crisis we are having regarding like Malaysia, Belarus, I mean like England, US, everywhere. That is a problem in Sri Lanka. We can't send money, right? Because of the dollar crisis in Sri Lanka. But don't worry, there are alternatives. We can help you out, right? And because of these guys were talking about the war, I will tell you, I mean, there's no war in Belarus, but everyone knows if you Google and if you go to the YouTube, there's a war happening in Armenia for a long, long time. So still there. So there's a war between Armenia and Azerbaijan from those days. So there are enough videos on Al Jazeera, YouTube, and all these things. There are protests going on Armenia now. This is again Al Jazeera. This is a protest is in Yerevan, capital, on 1st May 2022. Right? I am just telling you because the fact they have advertised like this. Otherwise, I don't want to fall into cheap war between agents. I am just explaining your pathways, what you are having, right? And also Armenia, there are no direct agents as well. So they all place the students through Indian agents. Even the embassy in India, they have warned about the fake agents available in India. So you have to take care of all these things, right? We do work, like Mandarika said, we do directly work with the university, right? Our deal is very transparent with the university. If you fall into any trouble, we can directly speak to the university. If you have any problem when you go to Belarus, we have our officers to look after you. You can talk to us. Your parents can talk to us. You can talk to our foreign, your parents can directly talk to our foreign officers there. So all these things are very much streamlined, right? And this is our office there. So Dr. Bhatia Karunaratna is living there more than 20 years. He is in charge of all three officers in BTEPS, Gomel and Kodma. And apart from that, there are different staff available in each university. When you go there, if you are taking our offer and if you are going there when you arrive from the airport pickup, for the last day you are staying in Belarus, we will be guiding you, right? Not only that, I told you we are working with several examination training institutes all around the world. So if you want to go to UK, USA, Australia, we will help you. We will guide you, right? We will guide you. And when you arrive, the first 3 meals will be free of charge, city orientation we make. And in terms of, I mean, let's say if you get sick, you don't know the language when you go there, right? So our people will help you to go to the hospital, take medicine and all these things. If you fall into any academic issue, if you fall into any apartment or the hostel issue, so we are there, our people are there to take care of you. Basically, we are there to help you during any need there. So that is our assurance. You can ask from anyone during the COVID-19 pandemic also. I think that is the basic factor that we are talking today because of that. And the China never opened up, and Belarus never closed down. Basically, they were managing the according to the very similar system that the entire world is managing now, right? So their health education system is system is pretty much advanced. They were right from the beginning. They were managing that like that. But the parents were pressurizing us to bring the students down, and our officers in Belarus, they did all the groundwork. Sometimes we had to take care of the students sent by other agents also. Some agents actually help the students, but I am talking about some other agents, right? So that service we can guarantee, right? And so this is the medical licensing examination training. We are tied with Kaplan Medical. That is the world best for US MLE examination if you are going to US. and we are tied up with Alan groups, and we are talking to Swami group in UK for GMC exam training, and we do work with Manipal University, and they also have GMC training there as well. So you have whole portfolio of benefits applying through us, right? So I will show you a small video also. These are our contact numbers. So you can take a screenshot or whatever, like the photo, or you can write down, right? And these are our contact details. And I will show you a small video on Government State Medical University. And after that, I will give my session over to Dr. Burhan, and he will more talk to you regarding the training that you get in Belarus and why doing the third year is important academically. I just emphasized my part, like the pathway and the benefits and how we can help you out in that way, right? And also, tomorrow you can reconnect with us again, because we are bringing the university also on board. So you can, the university official will also be talking to you. So I'll get 3 minutes and show this video to you. Right?
Yeah, also, Mr. Amila, one more thing. For the students who sent in their applications, your documents, it is advisable for you all to join the meeting tomorrow, which we have with the university, because the university received your documents and they matched your units. So please do join for the meeting we have tomorrow. And for the rest of you all who's interested, please get in touch with whoever who shared you the Zoom link for today's meeting. And now we will see the university video. Ms. Tamila, if you can play it.
So first few sceneries are about the country. So can we moving to the video? So this is country, Belarus as a country. This is Gomel city actually.
Professor Igor Stoma.
Actually, he is the chancellor of the university. Under his leadership, a lot of things were changed, because he's a very young, energetic person. He's an infectious disease specialist and trained in USA as well. So it's very pretty much a go-getter. So that is why they were the first university to offer credits for Chinese students as well. So there will be a lot of innovative changes in the time to come in the university.
I'm Chancellor of Gomel State Medical University, and we are happy to see you here as our students. Welcome to Belarus, welcome to Gomel, and welcome to Gomel State Medical University.
You can see the Russian letters here, right? Just similar to English letters, other way around. So it's not like difficult like Mandarin. You all will be able to cope up with that.
I'm from India.
I'm from Nigeria. Je viens du Congo.
I am from Sri Lanka.
I'm from Yemen.
Now you saw that different countries, right? I am really happy to say last September they appointed agent from UK. Last September there were some UK students came to Government State Medical University. So they are currently studying medicine program as well. So it's a very good sign that the UK students are coming to the right? So their teaching style is tenure group, as I emphasized earlier. These are tenure group classes. can see like they use, they give you laparoscopy simulators to work with as well. So those are latest technologies. This is one of the pediatric hospitals. This is one of the general hospitals. This is the hostel complex. So in terms of accommodation, you can stay in the hostel, or else I told you IMC, we have officers in Belarus, so we can find you an apartment before your arrival as well, if you want apartment accommodation. So you can see Republic of Belarus, Ministry of Health, Government State Medical University. It's under Ministry of Health. Okay. There are some questions I'll try to answer before I hand over to Dr. Burhan. I saw few questions over there. So there's one question: how do I become a podiatric doctor? So that's a specialization available in countries like states. So you first have to do the general MD program and then get into specialist stream like that. Is Gomel State Medical University a Soviet Union university? The Soviet Union is no more in place, so now everything is an independent country. Yes, earlier it was a Soviet Union country earlier in 90s. Or are the exams done verbally? There are viva as well as there are written exams as well. That Dr. Burhan will explain. is Gomel the only place China students can transfer? Yes, in Belarus, Gomel is the only one that they have given. I told you we are working with many universities, and we were talking about the transfers to Malaysian universities as well. But unfortunately, except Fudan and all, like, you know, few universities, all the universities where a lot of Sri Lankan students are placed are not recognized under Malaysian Medical Council. So that is why the transfer cannot be done. I told you this transfer, you have to be very, very careful. I explained, I mean, I took most of my presentation time to explain you how crucial it is. It's your future. Okay, one other question. I think why was Armenia not listed ECFMG? Because it is all to do with the accreditation. I mean, Armenia is not a very reputed place among the international students, right? So there had not been any cases where the students have gone to US and practice. So it's not accredited there under Pathway 3. But Belarus, there are a lot of students going, I mean, all over the world. And it's an endorsed pathway. So it is recognized under Pathway 3. So it's very easy to do USMLE and work in US and all these things. Those are very clear, right? So simply that has not been accredited. That's why Armenia is not there. What time is the time of the meeting tomorrow? Tomorrow, university has not confirmed us the time as yet, but we will definitely inbox you. I mean, I think Mandarika and others will have your contact numbers. We will definitely contact you. Will you be introducing other units such as Malaysian? Unfortunately, because of this issue, most of your Chinese medical schools are not accredited under Malaysian Medical Council. Credit transfers are not possible. But if you really think that you should go to a Malaysian university, right from the beginning, we have about 7-8 Malaysian universities under our belt. So you can talk to us individually, right? And take all these details from our counselors, right?
Mr. Amila, shall we get Dr. Burhan to speak? Because I'm getting a lot of questions from students asking, you know, they've completed their 4th year first semester, and why can't
Sure.
they,
Yeah. So
get
those are the basic,
into,
this thing.
yeah,
Dr. Burhan,
because we're losing out
over to
students,
you.
that's why.
Hi, Mandy. Hi, Mr. Amila. Right. First of all, I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'll just go on to the most academic related questions, and I think some of the questions that have been asked by some of the students. I'll start off by actually a question that Mandy had actually raised regarding, I think a student had asked, because it was a concern if the lecturers and the professors in Belarus or in Gomel State Medical University, they spoke English, or how well did they speak English. So like the way you saw the rector speak English, that's how good they speak English. I'm 100% sure, because I know, as a matter of fact, when I actually went into medical school, one of the concerns when I actually was choosing it, China was also in the list, and I remember very well marking that the English, that the dialect actually at which the English is being spoken in China is very different to as Russian, right? In Russian, someone who's from Russian origin speaking, so you don't have to worry. You will understand the English that they speak. You don't have to worry at all. Right. So I'll just go on to the most important question. I think the question that everyone's asking: why 4th year, right? Why 4th years? Why students who have actually completed fourth year, first year, first semester, second semester? Why is it that they only get 3rd year? I think Mr. Amila touched on something that is very, very important. I think all of you all are medical students. So it's very different for me, because earlier I speak to students who are, wanting to actually go into, medicine, but you all have already have had a portion of learning already done. So first of all, I have to, commend you all at the fact that, you all are being very resilient with regards to whatever's happening outside, and, still focusing on a way in actually completing your medical education, right? So based on all of that, right, first of all, I would like to commend you all, right? So this question comes from everyone saying that I've finished my 5 years of medical school. Why can't I be eligible to go into internship in Belarus? Why can't I have finished 4 years? I've finished important subjects. Why can't I get transferred to the 5th year? Let me answer you this very simple question, right? This is because firstly, most importantly, 3rd year is the most important aspect, right, in the MD program, because you study subjects like pathology in anatomy, pathology in physiology, right? Patphys, Patanan. You start pharmacology, you start microbiome, you start topographic anatomy and operative surgery. You also start clinical subjects like internal med and surgery, in which you do not actually have a direct interaction with patients, but you learn the process in which you do simple examinations, palpations, or auscultations. All of those things are taught in those clinical related subjects, right? So now obviously you all, as I don't know if you all have had any clinical experience, so based on the whole aspect of clinical experience, you need to speak to patients, right? So for your long case, you need to speak to your patients, get a detailed history, right? For your short case, you need to be able to examine patients, right? So for that process, you need to know the language that those patients would speak, right? So if you're going into 3rd year, like if you're going directly into 4th year, you will not be able to converse with them. And you might say, why not get a translator? Using a translator, you lose the whole process of taking history. Taking history is an art, right? As all of y'all are planning to become doctors one day, right? Learning the process in which you ask questions from patients is very, very vital. If you do not master that, then it's going to be very difficult when you all actually start clinical practice as a doctor, right? So that process of learning and process of applying with patients is very, very important, and that you will be taught in your 3rd year, right? Also, you have to understand, so if you do not know the language, that is Russian language, right, you will need to actually catch up with the language in that 1 year of time, right? So it's not difficult at all. They won't expect you to speak Russian fluently. They will expect you to speak in such a way where you will understand, whatever you speak will be understood by the patient, and whatever the patient is saying, you will understand. So that's what you need. And the Russian classes will be more towards something like OET. It is very occupational. So they will teach you the Russian that is required for you to actually ask questions from patients. So they will actually, in the Russian class itself, I remember very clearly, they give clinical scenarios. So if someone's actually having pneumonia, what are the relevant questions that you ask? How do you ask if the patient is having fever? How do you ask if the patient is having cough, kasha? So all of those things, based on all of those things, you will need to actually, learn the whole art of asking and taking history. Another very important, you all have to understand, from country to country, there are different spectrum of diseases. Like the way in Sri Lanka, we have dengue, right? In Belarus, we have a lot of other sexually transmitted diseases. We have a lot of dermatological conditions that you don't find in Sri Lanka, right? So I'm assuming the same would go with China, right? So based on all of that, you need to actually have a grasp of every single thing, every single sort of condition that is prevalent in that country, and also the management itself, right? So in Sri Lanka, if you take a sort of a case where if a patient is having a heart attack, let's just say 56-year-old or 50+-year-old, what is the gold standard management in Sri Lanka? I mean, if it's a STEMI, right? I'm assuming all of you all understand what I'm saying, so that is why I'm using not lay terms, but medical terms. If someone is having an ST elevated MI, you all obviously know that the golden standard management rule is you have to start something called PCI, right? So it's called a percutaneous PCI, right? So for that, that is the golden standard. But in Sri Lanka, we don't do that for everyone. We have other modalities or other managements. We do something called, we give streptokinase, or urokinase is not available, but nowadays you have tenecteplase, altiplase. So all of these are drugs, medical management that can help dissolve that clot. But in Belarus, all patients actually are given the opportunity of a PCI only if they have any contraindications. They don't. So you have to understand, management changes from country to country. So all of those things for you to understand, I think the best year that you can go so that you can utilize the rest of your actual process in understanding what you need to learn in your clinical period is the 3rd year, right? So that's that. Another very important thing I wanted to actually emphasize, right? MBBS and MD, there's a big difference. It's not just the number of years. but it's just the curriculum itself. Right? MD is very, very integrated. MD is very, very detailed. I think Mr. Amila just touched on it, but I would like to actually emphasize on the difference to an extent where you all understand. So obviously you all know in an undergraduate MBBS level, right? The subject surgery. I'm just giving you a general example, right? Surgery. Let's just take a case like, you have a patient, 27-year-old female who's actually having right inguinal region pain. She's been having it for like, let's just say 2 days. She's also having associated loss of appetite, even a sort of a low-grade fever. She's having tenderness in the right inguinal region with rebound tenderness. Even on percussion, it's tender. Alvarado score, which is around 6 or 7, right? So it's clinically, that this is appendicitis, right? So if you have a case like this, and if in an undergraduate MBBS level, you have an exam, they say, what is the management? You'll say, okay, I'll keep the patient ill by mouth. I'll start him on an IV drip, to make sure that, he's hydrated. I'll also actually, monitor the parameters, and, I would actually get consent, because appendicitis is a clinical diagnosis. If we suspect if it's something complicated, we can do an ultrasound scan, but that's not mandatory, and we'll go for an open appendicectomy or a laparoscopic appendicectomy. Your answer ends there in an MBBS level. It might go to an extent, okay, what if during the appendicectomy, what type of incisions that are there, it might go into that. But in our exams, in an MD exams, they're like, okay, right, you took the patient to the operation theater. What are the incisions that you know? Okay, what is the McBurney's point? What is the Lance incision? What is the Gridiron incision? So what is the difference between a Lance incision and a Gridiron incision? Imagine if this was a pediatric patient. It doesn't end there. It says, okay, how are you going to actually, what type of blade are you going to use to actually make the incision? Are you going to use the diatomy, right? When are you going to use the diatomy? How are you going to separate the fascia? How are you going to separate the subcutaneous tissue? Is there any nerves that you will actually encounter when you actually, going through the McBurney's point, right? How are you going to find the fascia? How are you going to separate? Are you going to cut the fascia? Are you going to dissect? I mean, are you going to use the blade, right? How are you going to are you going to cut the muscle? Or are you going to split the muscle? What's the importance about which direction you actually split the muscle? How are you going to access the parietal peritoneum? So all of these things are questions that are more required, not in an undergraduate level, but in a postgraduate level if you're planning to do an MS, that is surgery, right? So these things are taught to you, right? So this specially will help you all, because obviously you all have actually, I wouldn't like to use the word wasted, but you all have utilized your time in China, and you all have already, you all are already on a ticking clock, right? So this actually will help you all in figuring out which particular area of post-graduation you want to get into. So that is something that is very, very significant, right, within MD program. It will help you, it will sort of mold you into actually becoming better doctors, and you will actually get that experience, because Belarus gives you that. Right? Because all of the hospitals that are there, state hospitals, you are required to go, you are not, they don't actually have any policy where you can't go to the ICU. You have rotations where, you have an intensive care unit appointment, rotation. You have different rotations in different local hospitals, like government hospitals, where you are given the opportunity in doing a lot of procedure. But again, at the end of the day, it is up to your sort of commitment. If you're interested, you can go ahead. If you're not interested, you can just, lay back and, do whatever is required, and you can go back home. Right? So that's up to you. So it all depends on how determined you are. It depends on how passionate you are. Because obviously, I understand all of you all are having a very hard time making the decision whether I want to transition from where I was into something else because of all the other problems that are going on. But what I would advise you, whatever that you actually feel is the most important part, I mean, the most vital part with regard to deciding how you want to actually, mold your career is something that you need to think of, right? So Belarus is again another very important thing. Mr. Amila highlighted on that. It is safe. It is safe. Like he said, the war is not in Belarus. Yes, Belarus might be a part because it is in alliance with Russia, but there is no war. If you ask any of the students that are there, right, they will not say that they do not have any sort of issue with regard to a war going on, right? Even though there is a close vicinity, I mean a close proximity to Ukraine, the war is actually in Ukraine, not in Belarus, right? So it's very safe. I know, because I know a lot of my juniors who are actually there, and they keep me updated with whatever is going on, right? And things are much more easier with regards to the learning process. It's got more computerized, it's got more integrated. All of those things have actually taken place, right? Another thing I want to actually emphasize is on the internship, right? Like Mr. Amila said correctly, right? Gomer State Medical University, I was actually talking to a few other students earlier also who wanted to transition, and I kind of, gave them a sort of a logical breakdown, right? If you're in your fourth year, or if you're in your fifth year, right, you going back to the third year, people actually say, okay, I've studied already for 5 years, now I've got to go back to third year. What the hell? I would like to actually, but let me just tell you now, I understand that this is the best that they can do. I mean, I did not even know this until a few days when Mr. Amila said that the university is actually allowed this, right? Because earlier it was not possible. So it has to, you have to commend IMC, AIC actually to actually speak the universities and sort of create a sort of a transitioning program, something where you can transfer, because until a few days back I had no clue that it was even possible. So when I was speaking to this individual, he had no idea as well, and I was telling him then you'll have to start all over. But he was very resilient. He knew that, okay, I want to do medicine, I want to make sure that I get my proper medical education. And I told him that the best way that he can actually utilize his time when he's actually there is make the most of the time he's actually having in Belarus. And that way of utilizing that time he can actually do is by starting his exams, right? For example, if he wants to go to the US, sit for the US exams, USMLE, while you are in medical school. Don't wait until you graduate, because now, like Mr. Amila correctly said, the ECFMG pathway, you do not need to do an internship. If you actually graduate from Goldman State Medical University, you don't need an internship to go start your residency in the US, right? You have to complete USMLE step 1, which you can finish by the end of the third year, and you can finish USMLE step 2 CK. CS is not even in the picture anymore; it has been taken off, right? CK by the end of 4th or 5th year. And knowing the fact that you have already had your foundation, right? All of you all have actually finished your foundation in China, most of you all. So obviously, hoping that you all have got sufficient knowledge, which I'm not sure, because I've had interns who have come from China, and I don't want to mention universities, but I don't feel like they've had any of their clinical experience, nor have they got their good foundation. So based on all of that, right? Based on all of that, it's very important that you all get a good quality education. It's not something where okay, I got my degree, now let's just start working. It doesn't work like that, right? And all these students who actually come from China who have not got that, they suffer quite a lot after coming back, sitting for the ERPM 2-3 times, or even more. I know students who have done it around 4 years and then got through. So because of that, it's very important you all get good quality education and good quality clinical experience. And that good quality education and good quality clinical experience you will definitely get in Belarus, right? So make the most of whatever you get. And if you're worried that you've actually utilized a lot of time, right, try to figure out other ways that you can actually not waste a lot of time. So for example, a lot of students, after they graduate, they have to actually sit another 1 year for them to actually sit for an exam, and then only they actually start working in their internship or whatever. But if you do the US program, which I recommend for everyone, the USMLE, right, you sit for step 1, you sit for step 2 CK, you'll have to do a lot of other things. I can talk about that. You'll have to do a little bit of observerships. You might have to actually go to the US for around 2-3 months, learn the process, and you can apply for residency, right? It is a little competitive, not a little, it's very competitive for the competitive fields. But yes, you will start your sort of career in the US, and it's a specialist path where you will eventually become an attending, also known as a consultant. So, so those are things that you can consider. If there are questions with regards to the academics and, how it will work, I am free and I can actually answer any of the questions. Mandy, over to you. Mandy? So I think there are a few questions. Let me just, if Mr. Amila also can join. So I can see that, sir, now I'm in the third year, second semester, and the transcript will near end by July. Chinese, how can I apply in the September intake? I think you'll have to speak to, because this is case by case, right? So this is not somewhere, you have finished third year, first semester, you're going to get this. No, I think you will have to submit all your documents to right. So you'll have to submit all your documents to Ms. Tamila and Mandarika, and they'll help you out. Another question is, will I be eligible to do AMC or PLAB if I do internship in a third country and get graduate? Look, it all depends. Now that's the thing. That's the beauty about the United States medical. I mean, the United States medical body and the UK, the General Medical Council, that is UK body. They don't go to see to. I mean, if I get your question correctly, it doesn't matter in which university. You have to have that 50% rule. Apart from that 50% rule, you need to make sure that you have graduated from that university. So if, for example, if the transcripts are all right, and if Gomel State Medical University has accepted you, at the end of the day, they will be giving you a degree that will actually state that you have completed from Gomel State Medical University. So you can obviously apply for US or UK or wherever that you want to actually go. The fees stuff, I think with regard to the tuition fee and all, I think Mr. Amila and Mandy will actually highlight on. Again, with regards to the which particular year you will get is again case by case. So please speak to Mr. Amila. I think you will have to submit all your transcripts, and then he'll help you out. Usually it starts in the month of September. Academic year starts from September. The first semester, it ends by around Jan. You have your winter exams in the end of January, and then you have a week break, and then again you start second semester in February. You end in June, and you can fly back again to Sri Lanka in July. Again, with regard to flying, all of that you can speak to Mr. Amila. So usually it again depends on which the lot that is going. How can I get my SLMC eligibility certificate? I think you'll have to wait. I mean, after we get the approval from this thing, I think we'll have to submit all those documents. I think Miss Mandarika and Mr. Amila will help you out. Right, so you have completed first year. Again, it's case by case, Isura. So you'll have to actually, speak with regard to that. I don't know, because you have to actually match the subjects. Now, what about the subjects that have been covered during the first 2 years at Goman Uni, but not in Achan? So exactly. So look, the thing is this. Okay, I remember very well. When I was actually studying, we had a transfer student from a university in Minsk, right, which is another city in Belarus. So I remember when she actually transferred, some subjects which she had not done, right, if they think it is vital, they'll make you do it, right? So it is again, especially when you come to 4th, 5th and 6th year, you'll have rotations. So your rotations will be from 8 AM to 2 PM. If you're planning to do on-call duty or extra duty, on that particular day, right, you might have to do, and then you can actually go to the dean's office and ask for the other things that you have missed, and you have to recover. So I don't know about the details, but I remember she actually did a few subjects. I remember she did a few subjects when she was in her 5th and 6th year. So don't worry. Whatever that is missed, you think that is vital, or if the university thinks it's vital, they will redo for you. Why do many students normally choose Vitebs or Goman? I mean, not the China one. Okay, so basically that's actually, again, if you ask me about the comparison between all the universities in Belarus, right, you have to understand all of the universities are state universities. So if you ask me the difference between Vitebs and Goman, it's basically like you asking me the difference between the Colombo Medical Faculty and the Karapiti Medical Faculty, or the Rajarata Medical Faculty, or the Jaffna Medical Faculty. All of them are state universities. The reason why people choose Vitebs is because it's a popular university. Because most of the students have started going into Vitebs. Now, I also studied in Vitebs, right? But I do know for my final exams, for my prof exams, professors from Gomel came to take my exams, right? So, so that's how it normally works. So you don't have to worry about. Is AMC willing to accept our 4 semesters of online medical studies? You mean the Australian Medical Council? Right. So again, for me, what is most important is obviously you can always actually, ask with regards to, if you will be, because what happens is it depends on the year that you actually go into a medical school. So if it's 4 semesters, I'm assuming that you have actually finished 2 years in China. So if you have finished 2 years in China, obviously they will try to map whatever credits that you have got. And based on that, they'll actually, put you into the sort of curriculum that you can go into Belarus. Right. So based on that, if you're eligible for the 50% rule, obviously, you will be accepted in all parts of the world. You can actually work as a doctor in any part of the world. So that is not a problem, which is why Ms. Tamila was highlighting on all the other countries and all the other pathways, not just, giving your pathway saying, okay, you have completed, 6 years, now you've got your MD. No, what we are looking at is we are trying to focus on giving you a pathway so that you can actually go and work as a doctor. It's not about you getting a degree, but it's about you landing a job and working as a doctor in any of the countries that you prefer. Right. There is a lot of questions. Is the internship in Belarus after graduation or before graduation? Usually it is after graduation. Since the internship is before graduation, consider electives or rotating instead of actual. Correct. You're absolutely right, that it is in an internship only after you graduate. It is actually electives or rotations or observerships before internship. So basically now for you, if you want to go to the US, they require you to do a few electives in the United States, or do a few rotations in the United States. So that kind of actually helps, right? It kind of helps with your resume in applying for residency, right? So internship in Belarus is not at all necessary if you're applying to go to the US. If you're applying to go to the UK, you don't have to do it. But the reason why students actually do an internship in Belarus, right, is because in the UK the internship is for 2 years. It's called F1, F2, right? And the availability, or what I would say is, the likelihood of you getting an F1 program, applying for F1 program, is a little difficult as compared to F2. Right, so which is why students actually opt in doing 1 year of internship somewhere else, and then they go into the F2, which is the second year of internship in UK, to UK, right? But then you can always select areas where there are less more occupied people, so those are called difficult stations where you will easily get accepted and you will easily get your F2. The question with regard to transferring to VSMU, well, the thing is this: GOMEL has accepted the modules, right? Vitebsk State Medical University, I mean, I don't know the process. I mean, obviously, Mr. Amila has not only looked at Belarus as an option, because I know I had a long conversation with him. He wanted to map it with Malaysia. He wanted to map it with India. He wanted to map it with a lot of other destinations, so that you all have more options. But I think, as far as I am aware, GOMEL has mapped it, and which is why they are giving the transcripts out. They're giving the offer letters from GOMEL State Medical University. But yes, you can obviously speak to Mr. Amil. Obviously, he will actually answer this question better. Can China students transfer to Kursk or any other unit possible except for Belarus? Well, the thing is this: as I told earlier, Mr. Amil has mapped. As far as I am aware, in Belarus, GOMEL is the university that has accepted it, which is why they're actually bringing this up. Will language be a huge barrier to our progress there? Is 1 year of learning the language enough for us to go into clinicals? Look, right, language has never been a barrier and it will never be a barrier. I'll give you the simple example. I never spoke Sinhala, nor did I speak Tamil when I came back to Sri Lanka. You will know, I knew Mr. Amila from back then, right? He also can vouch for me. I did not know how to talk. He was the one who taught me how to ask those questions. So now there are so many people, right? You just take this example. There are so many people who actually go for the exams in Jaffna. How do they manage, right? They have their internship in a place where most of the patients actually speak Tamil. How do they manage? They pick up the language, right? So it's all about experience. So I don't think you need to worry about it. 1 year of good Russian experience. They will have classes in the university. They will have classes and they will teach you. Obviously, it will not be parallel with the other students, but it will be a little different so that you all pick up the language quickly, and then based on that, you all are able to actually talk to patients. So don't worry. Language is not going to be a barrier as long as you all make an effort in picking up the language. Right. So someone says, I have finished my 5th year, second semester, and starting off again from 3rd year all over again is too much, because 3rd year is the most hardest year we went through. So repeating all those years again is too much again as a 5th year completed student. If not possible, at least start from 4th year. Again, the question, it is RC, I mean, whoever's asked this question, is that, the importance of it is a lot of the subjects the foundation is very important. If you go into the 4th year, right, or if you want something that is even close to where you are, it's a little difficult because you need to be able to grasp some of the concepts that are being taught in Belarus, which is why the foundation, as I said, PATPHYS, PATANAT, pharmacology, microbiology, all those subjects are very, very vital. right? Biochem also you study in second. So obviously when you're coming third year, they will assume that you all have knowledge in clinical biochemistry. They will assume that your knowledge in anatomy is good. They will assume that your knowledge in physiology is good enough. They will assume that your knowledge in anatomy is good enough, right? But the foundation, that is the core, right? That is the pathology, the path phys, the path, that is very, very important. So you might feel that again going through it is difficult, but I am assuming if you have gone through it in the right way, third year will not be difficult, right? If you have studied well, right? If you have studied well, it should not be difficult. Then I don't know what you have done there for 5 years, right? I'm being very direct, right? It's very important that you need to grasp that. But the thing is this, I'm sure obviously if the university was able to, right, if the university understood was able to actually give you a better this thing, they would have, because it's not about you just graduating, right? It is about you being able to actually get the best of knowledge and being able to apply that knowledge when you start working as doctors, right? According to your speech, we have to continue from third year, then the graduation will be 2026. Is there a rumor that GSM having a low world rank will affect us? Well, again, I don't know about low rankings and all of that. But what I do understand, I don't know which year you're going to graduate. Again, it depends from which year you actually are going to go to, right? So I can't answer that. Well, ranking does matter, but at the end of the day, it matters about how much of effort you're willing to put when it comes to university, right? So I know, as a matter of fact, as a graduate from Belarus, right? I actually graduated from my university in 2016. I got through my exam in one go. I had a very good rank, which is why I actually got to do medicine and surgery in somewhere very close to in Colombo. I mean, not very, very, very close, but I got to do medicine and surgery for my internship subject, internship rotation in Sri Lanka, right? So I know that ranking does not play a significant role, but amount of effort that you put in making sure that you get good quality, a good quality of education, that is with regard to the foundation, plus it also matters about your clinical experience. And I'm sure if you have actually studied from China, whoever has asked this question, obviously I know for a matter of fact, hands down, I know so many HOs, house officers of mine, who had actually never cannulated, had never managed to actually put suture. It was their first time in their entire life that they have actually even held a sort of suture material. They did not even know the difference between suture material. They've never catheterized patients, right? They've never even got to see how a neckline is being put. So these things clearly show that you've not got that clinical knowledge, which you will get in Belarus. That's all I can answer. I think that is done. I think those are all the questions that I've got, Mandy. You can take over. I'm sorry if I, but it's very important because, I feel very bad, right? I'll tell you very honestly, I feel very bad because I've had a few of my house officers manage to, do a lot of vital mistakes when they come into internship. And it is very, very crucial when it comes to patients. For me, my patients have actually been the most important thing. And I've seen a lot of doctors who have come out from a lot of universities in your region. I'm not saying your university, but from your region, who have had no proper clinical experience. And because of that lack of proper clinical experience, they've managed, because of their negligence, because of I won't say negligence, but because they were not aware, it has killed patients. And I do not want that, right? So wherever that you go, make sure that you learn, and you learn the art of taking histories, learn the art of taking examination, learn the most important things when it comes to actually treating a patient. So all of those are very, very important. All over to you, Mr. Amila and Mandy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boran, for joining with us. Mr. Amila, do you have anything to include?
Basically, Dr. Burhan also touched everything. What I can say, actually, like Dr. Burhan said, a lot of people are asking whether, they are in the third year, they're in the fourth year, can they continue from that? And we can't map your curriculum. Basically, we can send to the university and get the mapping done. It is very important you send the documents on time to us. And if you are joining the September intake, make sure you apply now, because when you apply, when you get the offer, I mean, you need to contact Sri Lanka Medical Council also, and they will take 1 month to 3 months time to see how the mapping has been done and to give the green light and the Sri Lanka Medical Council recognition. So you have to act very, very fast, right? Otherwise, you will miss the September intake. So you have already actually missed a lot of stuff. I mean, by online doing the training and all these things, then your graduation day will also push back if you get late, right? And be aware about this 50% rule as well.
And also, Shanella Mendes, you have been asking about the AMC pathway. What I will do is I will arrange you a separate consultation session with Mr. Kulatunga. I think you were in touch with me, so you can message to me over WhatsApp and I can get you a session with him. Or do you think you can speak to her, Mr. Amilu? Do you think you can attend to her query now? Or?
I mean, what is the question, Mandy?
So she is asking if we can explain the AMC pathway, how she can get into the medical licensing examination in Australia for AMC.
All right. Okay. So currently, if you take the rules and regulations, I'm just giving you information based on the current situation, right? So AMC consists of two stages, part 1 and part 2, right? Part 1 is basically MCQs. Part 2 is like OSCE, Objective Structured Clinical Evaluation, where you should see patients, right? So part 1 can be done online, and the part 2, the clinical stations will be organized in Australia. Basically, there will be about 17, 18 clinical stations. You have to pass, I think, 15 of them, right? So you have to deal with the patient. Like Dr. Burhan said, it is very, very not the ranking of the university. What is important is the clinical training you will get. I mean, in order to answer the theory papers, it is very easy because if you read books, theory materials, you can actually pass that exam, but not the clinical exam. So you need to have the patient exposure. And according to the prevailing situation, according to the prevailing rules and regulations, if you don't have an internship, then you have to finish part 1 and part 2. But if you have a prior internship done, let's say in Belarus, right, at Gomel, if you have passed part 1 examination, you can apply for supervised training in Australia and you can get into Australia. So you will be given 1 year to complete part 2, right? That is the advantage you are having, right? If you go to Belarus, right? 1 year to complete part 2. Part 2 can be, if you fall into that category, part 2 can be completed in 2 different forms. One is in the form of an exam, just like the part 2 OSCE exam, or in the form of work-based evaluation. Work-based is where, so now if you have the part 1 internship, so you go there, you fall into supervised training, and you are in a hospital, working in a hospital. So the hospital will update APRA, that means like Australian APRA is like, you know, Australian Medical Council is under APRA, right? And the particular hospital will send you a progress report to Australian Medical Council, right? So they will evaluate your reports and they will come to your workstation, workplace, work hospital and evaluate you. So that is the most of the students who are having an internship, they do like that because it will be much more easy. It is little costly, but you are in Australia, you are earning and that can be self-funded. So that is in a nutshell. I mean, there are a lot of stuff to be discussed, and we can have it on another counseling session if you want more details. Anything else like what we can tell actually?
There's another question, Mr. Amla. It's without AMC part 2, can we work as a supervisor in Australia? And what's the cost for AMC? Do you think we have to? Yeah.
AMC actually depends on the training program you are. I mean, training programs are there at different cost levels. I mean, like on average, it's like $2,400, $2,500 per session would be the training cost. And on top of that, there's an examination cost as well, but that is not that expensive. And let's say in order to do foreign exam, basically you need to allocate about 1.5 million, 1.2 million to 2 million, let's say, cost in Sri Lankan rupees, anywhere in the world.
So to everyone who has submitted their documents, this is your O-levels, your A-levels, and your passport, along with your transcripts. We already got your offer letters. So please do get in touch with us, because most of you all got very close transfers. So if at all you are interested in securing your seat for the credit transfer towards Gomel State Medical University, I urge you all to get in touch with us as soon as possible, because we've got a batch of 50 students who has requested for seats, and right at the moment we're sort of having a problem with allocating the seats for each student. Mr. Amila, we have actually a question. From your juniors, are they having difficulty taking money sent from home from their Amex, Master or Visa cards, just like in Moscow and Kursk? And also another question, whether we do transfer programs to Kursk State Medical University.
First of all, we don't do any transfer programs to Kursk State Medical Universities. And as I told you, we don't work as sub-agents, right? All these Kursk and all these universities are under sub-agencies. And I mean, we are much more confident, and we have much more results produced in Belarus than those universities. So we are only doing this where we have much more confidence on good quality training, because like these universities, they actually adopt much more modern training mechanism. For example, laparoscopy surgical apparatus, I mean simulators are also there in Gomel, where first you can't find those things. And the other thing is Visa cards and MasterCards are not blocked in Belarus. You can withdraw money, not like Russia. But Amex cards you can't use in Belarus. Only Visa, Union Pay, as well as MasterCards, and MoneyGram is working. So there are different mechanisms to send money. And what's the other question, Mandy? You asked?
Those are the two questions, whether there's a difficulty in taking money from
Okay.
Belarus through Amex.
Yeah, there's one thing, right? So in Sri Lanka, when you are using the Sri Lankan ATM cards, there are restrictions. Restrictions in the sense, per week you can withdraw only 25,000 rupees. So we advise all the students to take multiple cards. So then you will not have problem regarding money withdrawal, the limits assigned in Sri Lanka.
All right. So to everyone who has an interest to apply and to move further, please do speak to your consulted counselor, probably the one who shared you the link to join for today's webinar. So if at all you're planning to register on this credit transfer option, we can tell you, what your tuition fees are going to be. But on a rough note, please note that Gomel State Medical University's tuition fee would be $4,400 per year. It is possible for you to pay it on a semester basis. So that means every 6 years. And if you're interested, and also with reference to the hostel fee, it will only be $600 per year. And it is applicable to be paid on whatever the installment basis you prefer. So if you do come and visit us, and if you fix an appointment to talk to us, we'll be able to customize out the consultation for you and give you an understanding as to how the cost structure is being prepared for students to transfer money from Sri Lanka to Belarus, and what your financial commitment is going to be at the end of the day. Also, Ms. Manjula, the transcript, you have to write to your university if you're studying at a specific Chinese university. Yeah, please request your daughter to draft an email to the university requesting for the transcript, and the university would provide it for her. That's how the rest of the other students got it. And as soon as you have as soon as you've received it, you can direct it to us as soon as you
And
get it.
only the official
Okay, thank
documents
you.
from the university will be accepted by the transfer university, because we can't produce like handwritten documents from the student. It should come from the university. One student has asked like whether the Chinese language is okay. I think it's better to get the English version done. Or
Ms. Amila, is it possible for us to get the Chinese one and get a translator to translate it? Do you think that's feasible? Is that a
student can
possibility?
get a own translator, we can try. No problem. Chinese to English translation, there are own translators. I mean, accredited translators, so they can do it.
So for everyone who's on the meeting, I am dropping my mobile number. You can contact me on WhatsApp. And I also will be putting Mr. Amila's number on the chat box. Please do either WhatsApp or call us on this number. WhatsApp would be much more easier. So we have a track record of who has contacted us, and we can start the process as soon as possible, because we've already got 20 students entered into Gomal State Medical University with successful transfer credit options. So Ms. Tamila, is that it? Are we going to end it off, or how do you want to
Yeah, we'll call it
proceed?
a day. We are also inviting everyone to take part tomorrow. We'll notify you the time, so the university people will also be there, right?
Yeah, so thank you very much for joining in today. We hope to see you tomorrow for the webinar with Gomal State Medical University, so you can speak to them directly as well.
Yeah,
And we hope, yeah.
Other thing, Mandy, they should apply as soon as possible in order to secure seat in September. Because of the I mean, there can be delays at the Sri Lanka Medical Council when you produce documents for evaluation. They have clearly said it takes 1 to 3 months.
Yes, so please apply as soon as possible, and I'm 100% sure that IMC Education has been of greater support to get you in to Gomal State Medical University. So stay in touch, and if you have friends who are interested to opt for transfer options, please do get them to stay in touch with us so we can provide them with the transfer options. All right. So once again, bidding thank you to everyone, and see you tomorrow for the webinar session with Gomal State Medical University. Have a good night.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Ms.
much.
Tamila.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so let's start with my. So I hope after watching the video, you got some notion about the university and the city. So let me, as Dr. Bhatia has joined our meeting, I'd like to start with the introduction once again. Remind that from the university side, there are 2 participants. Dr. Svetlana Nashkina, Vice Director for International Relations, who did a thorough research into this opportunity for the transfer students to join our university, studied the curriculum and compare the curriculum of the Chinese universities and our universities. And me, the head of the international office, giving some key information about our university and the faculty for international students, which the students will join if they decide to transfer their credits into our university. So why Belarus? You know that among the post-Soviet countries and in general in Europe, with the recent rises in the number of international students, we are among the top countries of Europe attracting international students. As far as I know, now more than 40,000 international students are pursuing different degrees and foundation courses in our republic. Our degrees are globally recognized, and actually, as we got independence in the year of 1991, our universities joined this international system of education and started recruiting international students again. But when we go back to the Soviet times, when international students would come and study our universities and colleges, starting from the 1960s. So we've got a very good and broad experience in this domain. You know that we're a small country and now we've got about 9.5 million people, but at the same time, we've got a very developed system of healthcare, and the ratio of teacher to student and doctor to patient are among the highest in the world. And of course, we're a very safe and comfortable, safe country with low crime rates and very comfortable living conditions. So very developed public transport systems, very cheap. And although we're the second largest city in our country, still it takes 20-30 minutes to get from one side of the city to the other. So why our university? Of course, other medical universities in our country, but what are the benefits if you join our university? Of course, our advanced clinical and diagnostic facilities. So at the center of the Gomel region, and so more than 20 large multi-profile clinics are situated in our city of Republican and regional levels. We've got a vast experience in teaching international students and providing English medium programs. So we've been doing this for more than 22 years now. So, and as I mentioned this before, the teacher to student ratio is less than 1:10, it's 1:7 or 1:8 normally. And our tuition fees are very reasonable, so we are very flexible about our pricing, and we try to give as much comfort and good treatment to our students. So the facilities include about 40 departments, more than 450 faculty members, more than 4,000 students, including 800 international students from, as for now, 34 countries of the world, including the UK, Ireland, Australia, and the majority of students come from India and Sri Lanka. We were the first university in the Republic of Belarus to start the English medium program. It was back in 2003. As for the accreditation, and the recent innovations in our university. So our university became the center of prevention, and as a main medical center coordinating the fight against this novel coronavirus disease. And our rector is managing a lot of research projects and coordinating these treatment policies, guidelines, and regulations. So a lot of students of our university took part in these projects, including international students, and even joined volunteer teams who helped the population to overcome this infection. So besides the government accreditation that we have to take every 5 years under the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health of our country, we've done loads to prove our standards and our status on the international markets. So we're recognized by the medical councils of India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and the Maldives. And of course, the recent accreditation pays a tribute to our university, as we were the second one, the second university in the country who obtained this international World Federal for Medical Education WFME accredited agency back in November 2021. So what programs we provide? So these are foundation undergraduate program in general medicine or in preventive medicine. Then, of course, foundation programs provided in Russian language and basic core subjects necessary for admission, and the postgraduate programs, which are popular with the Maldives, the Russian citizens, and Arabic graduates planning to continue their medical education or to start to practice medicine independently in European countries. And again, about the innovations, in 2021 we launched new projects now available for the graduates of the British, Irish, Canadian, American, and Australian universities, the bachelor's or master's, who may join our universities and follow the 4-year pathway. So now about 10 students are doing this program from Britain, Ireland, and Australia. So I mentioned it before, we've got more than 20 affiliated clinics, which provide top clinical and diagnostic opportunities for the students to get acquainted with the techniques, the procedures, the staff, and become a real member of this hospital community and get an idea of real clinical life. So our students, and that is the difference of our university from the universities of Russia, Ukraine, Georgia, and many other countries, that we start supervised clinical work already in the first year. So the facilities are of Republican, national, or regional status, among them Republican Radiation Center, regional hospitals, and of course, more than 10 city hospitals. Besides giving access to our clinical facilities already for junior students and for first year students, we make sure they, of course, all the opportunities to train their skills. There's a lot of time our students spend in our simulation center, which got new equipment last year. Now we've got 5 modules: therapy, surgery, obstetrics, and gynecology, intensive care, etc. So a lot of numbers are allocated for this practical skills training. We're in touch with the embassies, diplomatic missions, and consular missions of all the countries from where our students come from. So a lot of visits are paid by the ambassadors. So the recent visits were back in December 2021, when the extraordinary plenipotentiary ambassador of Sri Lanka came to visit our university. Then a couple of visits were done in 2022 by the Indian ambassador and the first secretary. So the faculty for international students now comprises more than 800 students, and the majority of them come from India, from the southern states, and now there are more than 160 students from Sri Lanka. So this great community shows that we are a trusted university for this region. The medical councils know about us. They recognize us. We are also in touch with the secretaries about the new regulations, new standards, and we have no actually problems with these students, because there are many students and seniors help juniors or first students once they come. So there is actually about 500 students community from the region who speak the same language or similar languages, and who are very similar in their cultures and traditions. So some key information about the qualifications we give. So the specialty is general medicine. The final qualification is physician with the title Doctor of Medicine, which is international standards. So we provide English medium program for all the 6 years. And the recent innovation is 4-year programs for bachelor's and master's. So please, you're welcome to Gomel State Medical University. And thank you very much for your attention. So now if you've got any questions, we may answer them specifically about this transfer possibility for the Chinese colleges students.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, sorry, I was a bit late today. So I'm Dr. Bhatia. I'm handling the IMC work in Belarus. So Amila, maybe students have any questions? They can ask.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Yes,
Yeah, so my question is, now when we do the transfer to GSMU, will we have any help in terms of extra classes or of any sort for like Russian and for subjects that we are lacking or haven't matched with in the mapping?
Нам будет оказывать университет в отработке занятий, в отработке разницы и в изучении русского языка.
Наша учебная программа рассчитана на все занятия, все предметы клинические, естественно, научные, которые требуются в учебных программах Европы и в медицинских университетах всего мира. Поэтому все необходимые дисциплины включены в учебный план, и студенты в соответствии с ним занимаются. Русский язык изучается всеми студентами в той степени, которая необходима для общения с пациентами в клинике, так как наши граждане нашей страны и других стран, кто находится в учебных госпиталях, говорят на русском языке.
So let's start with this
students, you can please mute your microphone. There are some distortions.
So as our degree program is globally recognized and our graduates are given all the possibilities to continue their medical education or to start their medical career in European or American countries, you should understand that our curriculum still stipulates all the obligatory compulsory subjects. And of course, students studying at our university or joining our university as transfer students should learn Russian, which is done at an amount so you'll be able to communicate with patients in clinics.
Мы учтем все дисциплины, которые студенты прошли в китайских вузах. Но в нашей стране дистанционное обучение не проводилось, и все студенты продолжали заниматься в клиниках. Поэтому мы не можем взять студентов из китайских вузов, кто был на дистанционном обучении, на тот же курс для продолжения образования у нас. Все клинические дисциплины, кроме теоретического курса, содержат практические курсы, навыки, которые проводятся обязательно в клинике. И поэтому все студенты, кто придет к нам, должны будут доработать часы в клинике, практические часы в клинике.
So the problem with your hours, which will, of course, we analyzed and will take into consideration, is that you did you did for some time online training, which is not acceptable for medical education. So in our country, although we had a few waves of COVID, we never started online training. And as we're recognized by the Sri Lanka Medical Council, we do not want to risk our reputation. So this online program will cause a lot of trouble when you are back in Sri Lanka and you submit your documents for taking the final exam and getting your final degree recognized by the council. So we will accept the credits and the hours which were done from the point of theory, but you'll have to do extra hours which are allocated for clinical, hospital attachments and work.
Учебные планы в китайских вузах содержат много дисциплин по китайскому языку и китайской медицине. Наш учебный план соответствует требованиям медицинских советов стран, где мы аккредитованы, включая Шри-Ланку, Малдивы, Индию. И наш учебный план соответствует требованиям европейских советов. Обучение в госпиталях начинается с первого курса. И если студенты придут на обучение на второй и третий курс в наш университет, расходных часов будет мало и бесплатно.
So the problem with the Chinese college curriculum is also that a lot of hours were given for the Chinese language and some kind of adaptation into living living in China. So as I want to point out that our degree is globally recognized. Our curriculum and our standards of education and training and the details are all available in the medical councils of our major regions like Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives correspond to the regulations because we've been in touch and we've passed the accreditation. So we can't accept those hours which were done related to this Chinese life adaptation, which was done in the first year. So, and the differences in the curriculum, the lack of clinical work in the Chinese universities doesn't make it possible for us to accept you in the same year which you are in now. But if you agree to join a junior year, to lose some time, you'll be given all the support by our university, and we will allocate extra time, extra work for you in clinics and hospitals, free of charge. So we will accept the credits for theory from the Chinese universities, and will give you some kind of individual schedule so you can attend extra classes and do the clinical part which is missing in our affiliated hospitals.
Для студентов старших курсов, которые сейчас обучаются на 4-м и 5-м курсе в Китае, разница в кредитах с учебным планом в нашем университете превышает 50 кредитов. Поэтому те, кто претендует на приход в наш университет на 5-й и 6-й курс, должны отработать очень много часов, около 2000 часов за дополнительную плату. Это очень сложно, так как все студенты занимались последние 2 года дистанционно и кроме теоретических знаний не имеют практических навыков и навыков работы с пациентами в клинике.
So the analysis of the curricula for senior students, like those who are now in year 4 and 5, has shown that the discrepancy in terms of credits is more than 50 Alakan, and about 1700 hours are missing. And we understand, as you did online training, and of course the medical councils people will understand this too, that you did only the theory parts. You didn't do any clinical parts. So you didn't do the simulation center practical skills training parts. So if like we agreed to take you as like maybe some other universities promised you to do in the same year, there will be a lot of questions from the medical council, and it will be so difficult for you to do the clinical parts because you don't have enough skills to follow the curriculum of our medical university. And of course, if we accepted you in the same year, the difference, which is more than 1700 hours, so you would have to pay for these hours, and it's a huge amount. Dr. Bhatia?
Yeah, hope the answer is clear. Are you satisfied with the answer? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So,
there was just one part that I wanted to ask because that wasn't clear to me.
yeah.
Where my specific question was regarding like the Russian classes. Will we also have Russian classes to help us catch up so that we can, for example, if we are accepted to the 3rd year, will we be given extra Russian classes to catch up to the students who have already studied Russian for 2 years before we go into the clinical years?
Yes, they will give you. I think we can maybe if you can come a bit early, let's say 1 month time, so at least that you will have a basic language knowledge. We can discuss with the university and request that so that they teach at least 1 month of just to have some kind of at least 15-20% basic knowledge before starting. But they will of course teach you Russian language. intensively.
So our students, if they join the first year, they do Russian classes for the first 3 years, right? So to be able to communicate with the population and the patients in clinics. So if these students come to our university, they will have to study, to learn Russian while they're in the 3rd and 4th years. So for 2 years.
Yeah, so what they are asking is now there are some students who might get the chance to get admission for the 3rd year. So university will be teaching them Russian language in order to, that's what she's asking.
Yeah, there will be some, we could arrange some crash course. So the classes will be in English, but the students will do the Russian classes for 2 years. Maybe with some crash course if we schedule this group.
Yeah, Miss Marina, maybe what we can do is maybe we can invite them a little bit early and give them a crash course, maybe.
That's no problem. We have a group, so we should have a group of students. So we could be flexible, more flexible in terms of these arrangements. So the students should understand that we can't satisfy individual needs.
Yeah, no, there will be a group as per our agreement.
If they're a group, we will be flexible to manage everything and to provide opportunities, options for them. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. There will be a group. You can see there already a lot of applications are there. So I have another around 5 applications today pending. I will send you very soon.
Yeah, a lot of applications. Thank you for sending them. But the students, as they're still doing all the classes with these Chinese universities, or they're all officially expelled from these universities.
Mm-hmm.
So can you answer this question?
Still they are studying, Miss Marina. Still they are studying. Online, correct. Yeah. Some of them actually we have provided you with the transcript of the 4th year students actually up to the 1st semester. Within this month they will be completing the 2nd semester as well. So until the completion they will be there until end June.
Amila, now what I was asking, if we can get them down by 15th of July before, or I mean around 20th, and if there are 2-3 groups, we can ask the university to arrange crash courses, separate classes for only for Russian language.
Yes,
maybe there will be. Светлана Анатольевна, что я говорю, там вот 3-й курс и так далее, да, у них же какие-то, наверное, клинические есть, поэтому, чтобы они чуть-чуть раньше приехали, ну, июля, может быть, 15-20 числа, как-то 2 месяца, чтобы им какое-то знание, базовое знание русского языка, чтобы был. Может, доплатить, они согласятся там, ну, если 2 группы.
Мы разработаем курс, сделаем условия, чтобы они занимались русским языком, чтобы они к сентябрю уже могли понимать и немного говорить.
Да, хорошо, спасибо. That's what, Amila, the best thing is...
If they manage to come by the 15th or the 20th of July, so they have time, enough time, like 2 months before their clinical work starts, to learn the basics of Russian, to be able to, to get around and to interview patients in some basic level.
Ms. Marina, I got a lot of questions from students who are studying currently in China 4th year, 5th year, especially the 5th year students and the 4th year 2nd semester student, whether they can start from the 4th year 1st semester or 3rd year 2nd semester.
That Amila, I will answer because university explained me. Students can only start from 3rd year because Russian third year, first semester. Whoever who has completed even 5 years, they have to come because Russian language. And for an example here, gynecology, surgery, everything, those clinical subjects are done in online, no, in the past 2-3 years. So they will not recognize those credits because it's online. They're asking, how can you study surgery without even touching a patient? So that's why the university said only third year is that like the maximum.
Okay, so some of the surgery subject parts will be taught in the third year as well, is it?
Yeah, third year as well. No, I mean, if they have completed 4th year, they are in China, but you can't take those credits because it's online. It has been taught them online, and online education is not recognized in Russia, Belarus.
Okay, so they cannot be counted as the students who have completed up to the third year?
Yeah.
Hi, I have one more question. So as you mentioned that if we go by July...
Excuse me.
Yes.
Бати, я смотрела учебные планы 4-й и 5-й курс в Китае. Они изучали теоретические разделы. Если у них достаточно хорошие знания по теории, когда эти студенты приедут в сентябре, с ними проведут собеседование. И если у них достаточно хорошие знания, мы сделаем короткий курс за семестр, теоретические навыки за 4-й курс. И они смогут в феврале пойти на 5-й курс.
Вы имеете практические, да, занятия?
Да. Если у них хорошие знания, теоретические, по дисциплинам за 4-й и 5-й курс, в первом семестре, осеннем семестре, мы им сделаем практический курс, только практические навыки. Они пройдут их, сдадут экзамен по навыкам и в феврале начнут заниматься на 5-м курсе. Это зависит от уровня подготовки студентов на 4-м и 5-м курсе. Как они получили знания, как они их усвоили.
Mr. Amila, no, Vice Rector is giving us, she has gone through the academic curriculum. They are saying they have some students have studied only theory. So in that case, what they can do is when the student comes here, they will have a small interview exam on those subjects. And if the university is confident enough that they have enough theoretical knowledge, what they can do is within 1 semester, they will do the practical classes because theory doesn't matter, no?
Yeah.
And then after that, if they pass the practical exam, they can continue from the 5th year.
Okay. So currently they are getting admitted into the 3rd year. So after first semester, there will be exam.
No. Before admission, they will have an exam.
Oh, right. Okay, great.
So
great.
if they are satisfied that the theory is good, then they will teach Russian and the practical within 1 semester, and then they can join from 5th year from September. From February for 5th year because there's the 2 intakes are there. No?
Straight from the 5th year.
5th year, but they will miss only 1 semester in that case.
Okay, that's great. That's a great arrangement actually.
Yeah.
That is for the students, doctor, students who have completed up to the 4th year.
4th year, yeah.
4th year.
4th year, 5th year who has completed.
Okay, Dr. Bhati, now currently some students are doing that is also online, right? Finishing their exams within about couple of weeks time, I think the 4th year exam. So so they can come to GOMEL if they are joining. They can come to GOMEL with the latest transcript also. So I mean, we can have that arrangement for them as well, right?
Them as well, yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's great. That's great.
That maybe Miss Marina can answer. Now there are есть студентов, которые заканчиваются через 2 недели, 4-й курс полностью. Ну, им тоже возможно это да? Вот это вот.
Да, возможно.
Yes, you can do that also.
They have to pay extra money for this clinical part. Yes, they should understand that the difference is so great that they will have to pay for this extra clinical classes.
So within 1 semester, that means 1 semester, if they
они приедут и заплатят деньги, как обычно. Мы сделаем для них курс. Количество часов будет тоже, что необходимо.
Semester fees only they have to pay.
We should have a look at these final transcripts, okay? So can you give us some time to analyze this senior year student situation?
What they say is they have to see exactly how many hours are not there, whether they can cover it with the semester fees. If they cannot cover with the semester fees, there will be additional hours. If they need to study, then it will be a bit expensive than one semester fees. But they say they need some time for that.
Потому что уже будет много дополнительного русского и практически.
And of course, the senior students, the more students join the university, I mean the senior students, the less fees they'll have to pay. So we could arrange, understand, yeah? Dr. Bhatia, do you understand?
Yes,
the more students join the senior year, the easier it would be for us to arrange groups. And the less money they'll have to pay.
Yeah. Now, for an example, Amelie, if one student needs this, right? The teaching hours are the same. So that student has to bear up all the expenses. If there are 10 students, it will divide by 10.
Oh, okay.
It will split.
But you have to understand, if we give 100 students also, it will be only divided by 10 or 12 because one group can contain maximum of 12.
Yeah. This is Dr. Bhatia. This is Dr. Bhatia. You are attending after the exam, is it? Or...
Yeah, after the exam only. After the exam only, the university can decide whether they have a proper theoretical knowledge, theory in the clinical subjects.
Okay, so they will cover the missed hours, right?
Missed hours and practical. Because first of all, they have to study Russian language in that case, at least for first 2 months, because they are going for hospitals straight away.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. If the students who wish to do these things have to come a bit early.
Okay.
So Dr. Bhatia,
so Dr. Bhatia, after now, let's say they are joining the 5th year, how would be the transcript? I mean, after the award of the degree.
Yeah, so it will be so whatever. So in that case, I think it will be a mixed transcript. We have to ask from the university. Светлана Анатольевна, Марина Витальевна, задается вопрос, как будет выписка, как будет выписка 5-4 курс студентов.
Мы включим выписку, будут включены все предметы в часах и кредитах, которые они прошли в Китае. Затем будет написано, что переведен в Гомельский государственный медицинский университет, и будут указаны все часы и кредиты, которые они пройдут у нас. Если это касается русского языка и других дисциплин, которые они будут дополнительно, все часы будут указаны в выписке. То есть, если мы говорим о таком курсе практических навыков, то это все будет оформлено элективным курсом.
So the final transcripts will contain the credits and the subjects from the Chinese college, of course. So we will copy it into our final transcript, stating that the student got admitted into this particular Chinese university, then transferred his or her credits to Gomel State Medical University, completed the program, the 6-year program of our university, and got the final degree. And of course, there will be a mix. So the Chinese subjects and hours plus ours.
So it will be, for an example, anatomy, Chinese university, 100 hours. Then elective anatomy, if the hours are not enough, Gomel State Medical University, 20 hours, like that.
Okay, right.
That's what, right, Miss Marina?
Будут китайские часы, а наш будет стоять отдельно.
Да,
то есть не будет прессоваться.
Мы укажем отдельно часы, которые прошли в нашем университете. Часы в Китае, затем часы, все часы, которые у нас.
Pono. Yeah, but I.
Бати, дело в том, что наш университет аккредитован в Шри-Ланке.
Да.
Мы предоставляли все часы, дисциплины, перечень в медицинский совет Шри-Ланки. Это все есть. Соответственно, мы должны гарантировать, что по основным дисциплинам клиническим, которые контролирует медицинский совет, наш университет выполнил всю программу.
Да. Поэтому, например, если анатомия китайским каком-то университете 100 часов, а нам надо 120, пишется в Гомеле, подошел как электив, еще 20 часов.
Да, дополнительные часы.
Same thing what I told Amile. Now, for an example, if the Chinese university has done anatomy 100 hours, and according to the Gomel curriculum, it should be 120, there will be 20 extra hours. And actually the student has to do that. So, but for an example, there will be some hours less in other subjects in China. So they will, because that's why most of the students are like getting at least one semester back so that they can clear up these hours.
В учебном плане Китая много дисциплин, которые медицинский совет не контролирует. Мы дадим только те дисциплины, не все, которые есть в плане, а дополнительно только те, которые контролирует медицинский совет.
And there are in Chinese program, there are some subjects that the Sri Lanka Medical Council does not require those subjects. So in that case, those subjects they will not do whatever the subjects with where the medical council needs.
So the Gomel University will make the students do the extra classes which are of particular interest for the council. Like we won't make them do the social and humanitarian subjects.
Yes.
Some science. Okay. So but the clinical part, which is like the core, the main thing, yes, for the council when they let the students take the exam. So that they will ask the final universities about these hours. The graduate has to submit a lot of documents, yeah, to the council when they come back to the Sri Lanka.
Dr. Bhatia, I have got another question. Now there are students who have completed the first year, right? And they were offered to start from the beginning. So
no, they were offered to start from the second semester, first year, second semester.
Because Dr. Bhatia, in the transcript currently it's like it's indicating that they have finished only first semester because they are still doing the exam for the second semester.
So whoever who has completed the first year will be losing only one semester. They will be going with the winter batch.
That means students who are in the second year currently in China.
No, currently who has completed the first year
currently in second year, first semester, second, that's right. So it's very difficult to tell like that. So that's what we need to see individually. Normally agreement was who has completed the first year will lose one semester. That they will be joining the last winter batch intake, February intake. Dr. Bhatia, now we can ask from Ms. Marina also, like, will there be an exam for them also? I mean, if their theory sounds well or theory knowledge.
No, there won't be exams. There will not be exams. Only for the clinical parts, only the exam will be there. Whether they have,
right.
For the first, second year, there won't be, third year, there won't be exam.
There won't be exam and promoted to the next year. Nothing like that, right?
No. Because they will not have time, no? Now, for an example, anatomy, if there is less hours, they have to do that, no? They can't do it while they can't study physiology without completing the anatomy properly, no? So they need to do these things.
So the exam will be arranged only for senior year students to test their knowledge, because 50% of the training that the third year is crucial for us. We've got this pharmacology, surgery, introduction into internal medicine. So it's like the milestone after which the student may proceed to some kind of unsupervised clinical work.
So,
they
Ms.
have to
Marina,
pass.
just to get things clear, the exam will be there for the students who are currently doing the clinical part in China, right? After who have
Fourth year,
already
fifth year students, yeah.
Fourth year, fifth year students.
Да. Only fourth and fifth course now in China University.
Understood. And there is another question. Current student is has completed the Chinese program and they haven't been able to complete the internship. So whether they can do the internship in
And how many years did they go in China then?
Ms. Marina, degree is 5 years plus 1 year internship. So they have studied up to the 5th year, but they haven't done the internship.
You may send the students' documents and we'll analyze.
Sure.
We can't answer this question right now, but our program is 6-year program.
Correct.
So I think, Camilla, in that case, they have to do 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe yes.
Yes, I think they do the MBBS system, right? The China.
Yeah. Because doctor, they won't award the degree
without the internship.
They complete the internship. Correct.
So you want who will be awarding the degree, the Belarusian or the Chinese?
Yes.
I thought they will do the internship here and the degree will be awarded by China.
Still, the degree has not been awarded by China.
No. If they go through the internship in Belarus,
yes,
will the degree and show the certificate in China, will the Chinese university award the degree or the Gomel State Medical University has to award the degree?
I think Gomel, doctor, because I mean, that is, we need to discuss with the Chinese university in that
Chinese
case.
university.
Yes, in that case, currently, I mean, if it is a case, Gomel might have to award the degree.
Because as far as I know, maybe the rules have changed now, right? We have to check. For the last year, you can't do transfers.
Yeah,
that was there. Yeah, because this is the last year. No, last year you can't do transfers. Maximum, even from Russia to Belarus, which is the same curriculum they are doing, for 6th year they don't take transfers.
Okay, the student has just written to me, China will award degree after doing the internship in Belarus.
Sorry?
The student who asked that question, he has written China will award the degree after doing internship in Belarus.
Then yes, then there won't be an issue. But then the risk is that Chinese university, whether the student has to ask from the Chinese university whether the internship which is done in the year in Belarus will be recognized there.
Actually, students can ask the question directly from the university. I mean, if you can switch on your microphone and ask the question.
Светлана Анатольевна, вопрос такой. Китай, у них 6 лет обучения, да, но обучение идет 5 лет, шестой год – это интернатура. И после интернатуры они только дают диплом. Но они задаются вопрос, может ли интернатура, вот это кто закончил 5 лет, можно ли интернатура проходить в Гомеле? Ну, я задавал вопрос, а кто будет потом давать диплом, китайский университет или белорусский университет? Но они говорят китайский университет. Но тогда надо задавать сначала вопрос китайскому университету, что они признают ли интернатура Беларуси, которую они будут проходить.
Дело в том, что во всем мире и в Европе все медицинское образование идет 6-7 лет. Да. Сейчас у нас программа с Великобританией, когда студенты 3 года изучали бакалавриат и приехали к нам в наш университет и будут учиться 4 года. Всего 7 лет. Это полное обучение в Европе, получение квалификации доктор медицины. В Китае 5 плюс год интернатуры – это скорее всего, соответствует нашему 6-летнему образованию.
Да, бакалавр там говорят.
Учатся студенты Индии по системе, Индия признает, и они занимаются 5+1. 5 лет обучения, 6-й год как интернатура. В нашем университете это полный курс, и в дипломе стоит квалификация доктор медицины.
Miss Marina, maybe you can translate it, please.
So the duration of the program is 6 years. It's true for European universities, for post-Soviet countries. So the program is 6 years. In China, it's 5+1. But the final degree they give is actually corresponds to our 6-year programs. So they just use this term. Internship should be substituted into undergraduate internship. So in our country, it's 6 years. So we can't accept those internship programs done by Chinese university. So we will consider these students as transfer students anyway. We've got some other options, like Indian students are doing our 6-year programs, and the medical council recognizes it as the internship. Yes, and we've got another 4-year pathway for the graduates of British universities. But as for the Sri Lankan students transferring their credits, the degrees, the Chinese degrees, are not transferable into our system because we've got different systems. We follow the European pattern. So you may send these documents, we will have a look, but if we agree to take the students, it would be a transfer student. Was it clear or not?
Yeah, I'm clear.
Yeah,
I don't know.
clear. Students, are you clear on that? Or do you have any questions? I think as the university explained, best thing is to take your offer, whatever the credits you have been currently offered, and finish your current exam also, and go ahead with the application process, and we'll apply to SLMC as well, and go to the university. So once you go to the university, as the university rightly explained, if you are in the 4th year, 5th year, you will have an exam, and if you are good at that, you have the privilege of joining from the 5th year. So that's a great offer with a very good flexibility offered by the university.
And Amila, they have to come in advance. They have to come at least by 15th of July.
Yes.
June, sorry, June. July, August. Yeah, so they have 15th of July. Yeah.
Because doctor, there are some documents to be submitted to SLMC as well. So I mean, they have to fill up whoever apply to Government State Medical University, please fill up your forms, complete all the admission procedures, because I mean, we are running out of time, because we need to submit the documents to SLMC as well. And then you can actually go to Belarus, go to GOMEL and start the program a little early to fill up the gaps and the Russian program.
So there is a large community of students, so the earlier they come, if it's like mid-July, end of July, so the Sri Lankan community will help them a lot with adaptation, showing them around, helping with the clinical facilities, the university system, etc. Getting to know Gomaland.
Miss Marina, Dr. Bharati, there is a question: what kind of exam should we write for 4th year?
So the clinical subjects that I think our vice rector will answer. Svetlana Anatольевна, просит, какие экзамены будет они сдавать, если вот 4-й курс, вот 5-й курс клинической базы, какие конкретно? Хирургия, все клинические дисциплины?
Therapy, obstetrics, gynecology, pediatrics, что еще? Topographical anatomy.
maybe we can send a common letter. Может быть, нам лучше сделать общее письмо, да, кто хочет и какие дисциплины они должны будут сдавать. Но это не сегодня-завтра, ну, в течение недели, может.
Да, мы сделаем такое письмо, мы напишем, какие дисциплины будут включаться в этот экзамен. Главное, мы должны увидеть, как хорошо студенты владеют теоретическим материалом. Если они учились дистанционно, они ответят на все вопросы.
So what she says is it's difficult to say exactly how many subjects. So basically it's surgery, pediatrics, clinical medicine, gen and obs, and there are some. So they say they will send a common letter. You can give it for the students that these are the subjects that because there are pediatric surgery. So it's difficult to say at once. So there will be all clinical subject exams which is needed for 4th year to continue. So they will send a common letter, so you can give it to the students, and so they have to where they need to study and come. Clear, Amila?
Yeah, there is a question. I am also not that clear. I am currently in 4th year, but done theory only since 2nd year, 2nd semester, and we don't have any clinical exposure. How do we do the exam to pass for 5th year? That's why.
No, so that's what they say. So that's what.
That's what the university has offered from the 3rd year. That is why. That is the reason actually. So if you are competent enough, if you think that you are competent enough to take up the exam, you can do the exam and get yourself promoted.
Camilla, I have one question. Oh, sorry. You may go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So if the students have already completed the 4th year, the clinicals, not except the clinicals, the theory part in online, is it possible for those students to repeat the 4th year onwards? I mean, to do the 4th year, which is, I believe, I was looking at the cardiology, general surgery, gynecology, all of them again. Is it possible to do that instead of going to 3rd year?
It is possible. Of course, it is possible.
So it's possible to go, I mean,
from the beginning also it's possible. If the students wish, if the students think that they have enough knowledge, they can face the exam and pass, you can do that. If the student is not confident enough, you can
start from the 4th year.
4th year as well. But the issue is, again, the Russian language. So you have to decide in advance and come as early as possible.
Okay, so the barrier is the Russian language.
Yeah, because you can't study clinically if you don't speak with the patient. So here the patients, they don't speak English, and they don't they don't give you a translator as well. So you yourself has to go and speak with the patient and get. So that's why the university is asking you to come as early as possible, so they can start giving the Russian classes.
Okay, thank you. I understood.
And there will be mixed groups, I think. So the students who studied already in Russia will be in those groups. So of course they can help you, but at least you need to have some kind of a basic Russian knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
I think there was another question.
Yeah.
Hello, I have one doubt. Like, if we join the 5th year, will the graduation be still from Gomel State Medical University after completing 5th year and 6th year there?
Yes.
Светлана
Анатольевна просит такой вопрос. Если человек поступает, ну, грубо говоря, сдают экзамены, и все нормально, 5-й курс, да? 5-й, 6-й они будут пройти в Гомеле. Тогда диплом будут сдавать Гомельский государственный медицинский университет.
Диплом дает Гомельский. Еще раз объясняю, если человек приезжает и сдает экзамен, он проходит 1 семестр практические навыки по основным дисциплинам: терапия, хирургия, акушерство, педиатрия, инфекционные болезни, фтизиатрия, топографическая анатомия. практические курсы, потому что анатомия заканчивается на 4-м, и без знания в хирургию идти нельзя. Если хирург не знает, какие слои он режет, он не хирург, он убийца. Все проходили занятия онлайн. Акушеры не смогут помочь женщине и родить здорового ребенка. Не смогут оказать помощь анестезиологи. Поэтому первый семестр с сентября по январь будут практические навыки для тех, кто сдаст экзамен. С 1 февраля начнется обучение на 5-м курсе по учебной программе. 5-й курс, 6-й курс, и тогда они получают диплом квалификации доктор медицины.
Now what she says is 5th year, whoever who wants to join the 5th year, they have to come here and give the exam, right? In the disciplines, what the university will let us know officially in a letter. And after, if they pass the exam and if the university is satisfied, for 1 semester, they have to do the practical classes, right? And after that, they will have another exam, and if they pass, they can continue from the 5th year, but from February onwards, and the degree will be awarded by Gomer State Medical University. Hope the student is clear.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I think, Dr. Bhatia, since Gomer has 2 intakes, that can be done properly, right? Not like It's very important because Gomer is having 2 intakes, so not like other universities, you can do this transition pretty easily. And there is a question, Dr. Bhatia, I am going to finish my 3rd year in June. So if I want to transfer to 4th year, should I write the 3rd year exam?
No,
I
so
think
3rd year students,
yes,
they have to skip 1
start,
semester,
yes.
Because this was given for only for clinical, who has done 5 years.
I think the university explained that this chance is given only for the students in the senior years, clinically.
Anyone is basically losing 1 semester.
1 semester.
Basically, everyone is losing once. Even the 5th year student has to do 1 semester here, and only they can complete. Dr.
Bhatia, other thing now, theory students, right? Now the theory students are currently writing the exam in June. So we the transcript what we have produced is like 1 semester less in terms of like marks and the credits. So now we have got the offer letter based on the previous.
But we have produced.
What we have produced. Now let's say we go ahead with this application process and everything, because the time does matter a lot. And if they produce the other semester results also, can
then
there can be an adjustment, right?
Reanalyze the documents and they will give an offer.
Right. Okay.
Светлана Анатольевна, это вопрос такой. Студенты сейчас сдают, но некоторых не сдавали экзамен. Вот через 2 недели будет сдавать экзамен и будет дополнительно еще один транскрипт, выписка, да? Но хотя вы уже дали admission letter для какой-то курс, но вы можете еще рассматривать, если какие-то, что потом сказать, что может быть другой семестр можно поступать, да? Это возможно, да?
Мы можем это рассмотреть. Но, да. Сейчас, когда мы смотрели все документы, я понимала, что студенты продолжают заниматься. Я видела документы тех студентов, кто представил за 4-й, за 5-й курс. И я понимаю, какие дисциплины они продолжают изучать, когда они на 3-м курсе. Но в нашей программе 3-й курс активно занимается в клинике. Хирургия, терапия, обследование пациентов. Онлайн это пройти нельзя. Это является базисом для продолжения обучения в университете по всем другим медицинским специальностям. Поэтому мы учитывали, что 3-й курс активно должен заниматься в клинике. Мы можем рассмотреть транскрипты. Мы увидим, какие часы и сколько прошли. но это не даст практических навыков, необходимых для продолжения работы в клинике.
Dr. Batia, can I give a comment? So the
Yeah,
main
please.
idea is, although the students did a lot of theory, maybe enough theory, so we will accept the theory pass. But then more than a year did classes online, so they didn't do any practical skills training, they didn't do any clinical work. So we can't accept it in the same year. So I'm sorry, but the Chinese university's curriculum is very bad in terms of this clinical pass. And the graduates will face a lot of problems because the first year actually doesn't give anything, even sciences. It's like introduction to some university life. It's some introductory into life in China. So this year is like minus. Then the year which they did online is minus. But what we are like sympathizing the students, we are given an opportunity them to transfer their credits, their theory pass. So we will accept them and we will give them this time, which is like free. So if they have anatomy, right? If they have physiology, histology, we won't make them repeat the same hours. We'll give some extra and we'll give them time to do their practical skills training and clinical work without making them pay extra money for this. Do you understand? It's like substitution. Accepting the theory, not making them repeating the theory from our university, but given this time for this practical skills training, for clinical work. So if they lose some time now, they won't lose money again, following the promises of maybe some other agents and some other universities. We will like promise them the same year opportunity. It's not possible. Taking a deep insight into the Chinese college curriculum. It's not possible. So don't believe this agent saying it's the same transferable year 3 to year 3. It's not possible. If you want to practice medicine in Sri Lanka, if you want to be a recognized doctor.
Медицинский совет Шри-Ланки предъявляет высокие требования к обучению врачей за рубежом. Мы знаем все эти требования. Мы гордимся тем, что ланкийские студенты, как и студенты многих стран мира, учатся в нашем университете. Они получают диплом нашего университета, и мы должны гарантировать качество их подготовки и обучения, не только теоретического, но и практического. Поэтому мы очень внимательно относимся к своей деловой репутации.
So we're a recognized university, and Sri Lankan students a lot of Sri Lankan students have chosen us as the university where they get their medical degree. So we've been training Sri Lankan students since 2007, actually. So as we know, all the standards and regulations of the medical education law-wise, and specifically for Sri Lanka, we don't want to ruin our reputation or lives and medical careers of our graduates. So we want them to continue coming to our universities as a trusted university.
Any more questions then?
There's a student asking, we already finished all the anatomy theory parts except cadaver. If we transfer to this country, they will do MIS clinicals, including cadaver. Yes, cadaver dissection is that, right, doctor?
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I have another question. Like, if we do the 5th and 6th year and graduate from Gomer State Medical University, will that be accepted by the SLMC? Will it be any problem when we are going to do this ERPM exam? Like, is there a rule from SLMC about the minimum number of years that we should spend in a university to graduate?
There's
minimum years will be.
yeah, there's no rule like that, but you know how SLMC work, right? They are very, very cautious about everything. So that's why initially the university has given you credits up to the 3rd year. So then you will not face any issues for sure. There's no
anyhow you are filling an application and giving it to the SLMC, no? So you can ask directly from that also. Now they have given approval, no? That's why you are applying for that.
Okay, so we can call the SLMC and get it clarified, right?
You can't call actually. Once you, let's say you apply to Government State Medical University, you get the offer. So with the offer and your previous Chinese transcripts, everything, you have to fill in an application and email all the documents to SLMC.
I think that part, Mr. Amila will.
Yes, we will guide that,
because
yes.
I don't know that part actually.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Bhati, I think for the senior student, we can issue a separate letter that, like Ms. Marina told about the exam, right? So then SLMC also will get to know, okay, there's a system like this. Then the students will be advised by SLMC at the inception itself, okay, you start from this year and that year.
Yeah.
I think
Excuse me,
better.
Mr. One question, one concern actually, with regards to, as you mentioned, when we are applying to SLMC regarding the transfer, we need to mention what year we are transferring into and how many hours we have completed, as you mentioned the other day, right?
Yeah,
So
there's application. Hope you saw that application.
Yeah, and if we do that, now, for example, GOMEL has offered 3rd year 1st semester, but
Yes.
then we are going to go there and only do the exam. So how are we going to fill that SLMC form and get the approval?
Yeah, that's why I suggested to enclose the letter with the SLMC application. Understand? So then they will say whether this is possible or not.
Okay.
Будем приглашать их на 3-й курс для старшекурсников, чтобы сдать экзамен. Приглашение мне нужно делать на 3-й курс, да?
Нет, на 4-й.
На 4-й, да?
Это 4-й, 5-й курс, на 4-й.
Потому что они же потом будут admission.
Я так думаю, лучше сделать на 3-й курс, а после сдачи экзамена, ну, чтобы студенты у нас претензий не было, да? А если даст экзамен, да.
Это лучше. Это очень хороший вариант, чтобы потом студенты не предъявляли претензий, что им писали старшие курсы.
Да. Мы приглашаем.
А когда они приезжают сюда, мы проводим экзамен, и по результатам экзамена мы его определяем, на каком курсе будет учиться.
The senior students who have completed 4th, 5th year, right? The university will invite them for 3rd year. In the invitation letter, it will be mentioned as 3rd year. After coming, they have to sit for the exam, and after that only the university will decide from which year they can continue.
Yeah. So that arrangement, Dr. Bhati, can we give it in a letter so they can submit it to the SLMC? The SLMC might tell, okay, whether this is possible or not.
That we will talk with you.
So if they say no, actually better to start.
Then no point.
Yes. So then in advance the students will get to know whether this is possible or not.
Светлана Анатольевна, такой вот можете давать такое письмо, которое вы рассказали, да, и мы будем, студенты будут этот с медицинским совете показать этот, а если медицинский совет говорит нет, не пойдет, вы должны опять идти, ну тогда университет, ну, не может рассматривать этот вариант, потому что медицинский совет уже сказали, они должны все равно с 3-го курса должны повториться.
Да, очень важно сейчас узнать позицию медицинского совета по поводу дистанционного обучения в Китае.
Да.
Может быть, медицинский совет учтет, что проходила пандемия и другого варианта обучаться у студентов в Китае не было. И тогда мы готовы предложить разные варианты, но определяющим будет позиция медицинского совета.
Yeah, so the GOMEL is giving the options, right? But it's better they work according to the medical council's advice. Yeah.
There is a question, sir, if I could start from the 4th year at GOMEL, will it be accepted by SLMC? We can't tell anything. So, I mean, anything. So, we have to apply and see. First, you apply to GOMEL, get the offer letter, and submit all the credentials to SLMC. Then they will tell. But I think I am quite confident what the GOMEL has currently produced, starting from the 3rd year, will be mostly accepted by SLMC.
Yeah, starting there will be no issue.
Yes,
that is possibility. Yeah, but so the students also has to understand what's the point getting the degree and if they can't practice in Sri Lanka.
That's the thing. Yesterday night also I explained them, I mean, the global standard and everything. So don't make your just the medical degree just a paper. You need to practice somewhere. So, I mean.
Excuse me, just for clarification, for the students who have already completed 4th year, if they choose to attend GOMEL University and they want to like repeat 4th year, like I said before, is it, is GOMEL University willing to give them the offer letter for the 4th year, or is it for the 3rd year? I'm just a bit confused about that.
Offer letter is from the 3rd year. 3rd year, after you going there, I mean, if you are in the clinical years, they will do the exam. So if you are competent enough only, you will be promoted.
Okay, so from 3rd year onwards, it's clinical years in GOMEL University. Is that it?
Yes, 90% it's like that.
Excuse me, can't we get the offer letter for the 4th year itself? Because actually we have studied the clinical subjects and we are going to do the theory exam on this June. So if we can get the offer letter directly for the 4th year, and then we can continue 3 years.
You can't.
From...
No, the university told exactly you can't get the offer letter for the 4th year.
Okay.
Because there are rules. So they said they can't. So only thing is you will get the offer letter for the 3rd year. And if you pass the exam, the theory exam in GOMEL, then of course you can continue, as they say, they will have to do practical part.
I'm a parent. Actually, what I the suggestion was this: there are about around, I think, 50 students in the same batch, right? So once the GOMEL University is forwarding 3rd year application, there may be some problem with the SLMC the approval. So that's why if you can explain to the university, if directly we can get the 4th year invitation, then there won't be any problem for these 50 students. That's why if that is happened, yeah, all this will go into this.
I don't understand how can there be an issue with the Sri Lanka Medical Council, because their issue is all 6 years should be completed in a Sri Lanka Medical Council recognized university.
Yeah.
So
but they have,
so then so both universities are recognized. It is up to the university to decide which year they should continue on, right? That doesn't matter whether she has completed 4 years there, and that doesn't mean that she has to admit into another university in the 4th year. They can admit, if you admit for 5th year, then there is an issue, but you can admit a lower year, no, as far as I understand.
No, they are going to a 5th year now.
Yeah.
So now what we ask him for the 4th year, to go to the 4th year, 1 year behind.
Yeah, 1 year behind. But the thing is, last year, the university is saying they have studied online. So the university says,
but online, not the clinical, online theory, no? They did theory.
Yeah, so in Belarus, the 4th year, they have to go to hospitals and they have to manage patients physically.
No, I mean, if you start the 4th year, then 4th, 5th, 6th, right? If they go for the third year, then they are about 4 years clinical.
Yeah, but the thing is, the language issue is there. You can't
Yeah,
go
that's what
directly.
we are asking, whether if you can, actually we are asking from the university, whether they can do some extra hours for the language and like that. If you can
So
do
extra
something like
hours,
that.
that's what I told to the university to ask the students to come early, because now, for an example, 1st of September, they start the classes, right? So at that time, they have to be fluent in Russian language. So
Can't you ask now itself from Mrs. Marina or somewhere now to get that clarification?
Yeah,
because
you
I
can,
think all these students ask the same question, whether they can get the 4th year. Then definitely they want to go, because that is 1 year behind for them. So that's what I think all the
I think
students
they
are
can
same
hear, they
batch.
can answer.
Yeah.
Miss Marina, if you
которые закончили 4-й курс. Можем мы их принять на 4-й?
Бати, мы уже определились. Мы выдадим письмо, admission letter, на 3-й курс. И нужно будет узнать в медицинском совете требования, сколько лет они разрешают образование онлайн. Студент прибывает в наш университет и сдает экзамены. Экзамены он будет сдавать по дисциплинам за 4-й курс. Экзамен дисциплины за 4-й курс. Если он сдает этот экзамен, мы семестр делаем курс электив «Практические навыки». Хирургия, терапия, акушерство, педиатрия, анестезиология, инфекционные болезни. И с 1 февраля он начинает обучаться на 5-м курсе. Он будет проходить электив навыков, которые он должен был получить на 4-м курсе в клинике или симуляционном центре. И продолжит заниматься по плану на 5-м курсе с 1 февраля. Без этого курса с практическими навыками мы не можем взять студента после 4-го курса на 5-й. Если бы 4-й курс были занятия в клинике, проходили работа с пациентами, с врачами в клинике, мы бы рассматривали такой вопрос. Но все китайские медицинские университеты работали онлайн. Практические навыки онлайн отработать нельзя.
maybe Miss Marina can translate that, please, for the parents.
Я just clarify. То есть они на 3-й, а почему сразу потом на 5-й?
Они, значит, нет, это если они 4-й прошли. Они приезжают в admission letter 3-й, сдают экзамен. Если они экзамен сдали, мы им даем практические навыки за 4-й курс. И потом с 1 февраля 5-й курс.
А вот это разница.
Мы укажем часы в Китае и наши элективные часы.
So we need to make sure the medical council gives us clarification in this, but what we offer right now. So for those students who are finishing the 4th year in this Chinese university, they will get an invitation letter which is issued by our immigration authorities, stating the 3rd year. So they're invited to undergo their studies in the 3rd year. So they come, take the exam. If they pass the exam, the theory exam on these subjects, therapy, surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, and maybe psychiatry and psychology, which are necessary for the recognition of the degree by the Sri Lanka Medical Council. We arrange a semester for them for only practical skills because the Medical Council of Sri Lanka has a list of practical skills from our university. And then in February, the students will join year 5, maybe with some other extra classes in our subjects, but still they will lose only a semester. I think it's a great opportunity, provided the students have passed the theory exams. And for junior students joining years 2 and 3, we advise to come, take a crash course in Russian, and start the years with no financial losses.
Hello, maybe clear? Hello?
Yeah, okay. We actually, but we did get the real answer. Okay, thank you. But most of the students want to get the, because there's no complication whether it can or cannot be done. It's okay. But actually what the students want to get the directly 4th year letter, then there will be no problem with the SLMC or because these students are already with the going into some hazard. So because of they don't like to get any risk. So that's why because of the SLMC will happen, issue will happen one day. So if directly they can send the 4th year invitation, there may be many students will join. I think
that's
that's
why the university clearly said. I mean, that is what I told earlier also. Now the offer letter is for the 3rd year, and there will be additional letter saying, I mean, if they pass the exam, they will go to the 4th year. So with all the documents, they can apply to SLMC.
No, Mr. Amil, actually,
Yes.
Actually, what we had discussion with all the parents and the students and like that. So, but everybody, actually, I am speaking on behalf of most of the students.
Yeah.
So we want to do it without any hazard. So this is simple thing. If you can explain well, so even before applying with the transcript or whatever to the SLMC, if this letter is saying that this student is applying for the 4th year, there won't be any problem because they will check the passport, visa, everything. So then everything will tally when they going for the ERPM exam.
But
so,
with the clarification, if we make, SLMC will tell that, whether this is possible or not, right? I mean, there's a letter saying if they pass the exam, they will be promoted to the next year. So
no, I mean is even nobody can go for the SLMC. No, even they will not answer for the call,
yes,
right?
Correct.
So then there is an issue for the students and the parents. That's that I'm speaking on behalf of most of the students. So if you all can get some at least the 4th year student, 4th year, they will absorb directly for the 4th year. I think most of the Chinese student will join.
I think the practical difficulties actually the university explained, right? Why they can't go straight into the
because they have 4th, 5th, 6th, 3 years because they are starting from the 4th year, right? 4th year, 5th year, 6th, they can enough 3 years for the clinical training or whatever it is.
Actually, in
so
Gomel,
that is
they explain all this time. They have some clinical subjects in the 3rd year also. 3rd year also. So they have done, Chinese students have done it online, and also the Russian language competency is required. So with all these things, if the student goes to the 4th year, they might fail. I mean, then they have to repeat the whole. I mean, again, go to the 3rd year.
Yeah.
We can say he can do it and get the admission. What if the students fail and gets repeated in vain, no?
Мы не видим онлайн, кто отвечает.
Okay, thank you very much.
We can ask Dr. Bhatia that also. I mean, if they are willing to take, if they're willing to take that risk, whether the university can do that.
Yeah.
Dr. Bhatia, we can maybe arrange a conditional admission letter stating that you
if they pass the theory exam,
if you pass the exams, you'll be promoted.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what I suggested also. Then there will not be any confusion with SLMC as well.
Okay, then.
It's not a good idea.
Okay, right. Okay.
I think the parent is there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the students will get a conditional offer letter, which can be produced to SLMC. I mean, the students will be in the offer letter. They will give for the 4th year with a condition that they should pass the exam. So then it's no problem at all.
Yeah, that's okay, I think.
Yeah, that is what I suggested right from the beginning.
Because they will be admitted to the 4th year only if they pass the
exam.
exams in these subjects.
So there's no problem if the student is competent. There's no problem at SLMC also. If the student is competent, then they will be directly going to the 4th year. Otherwise, if they fail the exam, they will start from the 3rd.
Вы приезжаете на третий курс, вам будет предоставлено право сдать экзамен.
Okay, thank you.
But мы предлагаем такой вариант. Мы даем письмо, admission letter, где пишем, что вы приглашаетесь на третий курс. Вам будет предоставлено право сдать экзамен по дисциплинам, которые проходят на 4-м курсе. В случае успешной сдачи вы будете допущены к курсу практических обучения практических навыков и обучению на 5-м курсе с 1 февраля. Мы это можем указать в письме. И там
вот это мы просили, он просил.
Да. А для отца, пожалуйста, поясните. На 4-м курсе педиатры учат обследованию новорожденного ребенка. Дочка или сын этого отца, который сейчас спрашивал, не знает, как обследовать ребенка. Согласен ли он своих детей допустить для обследования вот студента, который занимался онлайн в Китае?
Не, он говорит, что 4-й продолжать. Кто закончил 4-й курс, продолжать 4-й курс.
Окей. Мы хотим для того, чтобы мы гарантировали, что кроме теоретических знаний, они получат необходимые навыки, которые требует обязательно медицинский совет.
Да.
Но там же будет лучше, наоборот, если они приедут.
Yeah, doctor, if you can translate, Dr. Bhati.
No, it's the same thing what she told. We give the conditional offer letter.
So I think now the things are pretty much clear. So I mean, so Dr. Bhati, we have to redo the offer letters, right? What we have.
No, so first, second, third year letters we don't need to redo. For the senior students, if there are any questions, we have to redo.
Excuse me, I have another question. So when I'm searching online for the 3rd year, it says in Gomal University that pharmacology, microbiology, pathology, and pathophysiology are the subjects, clinical subjects that you have to do it during 3rd year. So before COVID hit, I have actually done the microbiology and pathology in the Chinese university, and we have already done the practicals with it. So I'm asking if those credits will be transferred to the university, Gomal University. Is it possible or not?
Of course.
So they will actually look at what we have done and not have done, and
Yeah. So now, for an example, because I can't remember exactly. For an example, now let's say anatomy in Chinese university, if it is 100 hours, and in Belarusian university is 150 hours, the 50 hours is less.
Yes, so you have to do.
You have to do that 50 hours because otherwise, because you are submitting the Gomal State Medical University degree and the transcript. So the SLMC will check.
Okay.
Then if the 50 hours is less, then it will be an issue for you. That's why they want
didn't see in our syllabus that 3rd year students do propedeutics, which is introduction into internal medicine. They do general surgery. They do patient care. They do first aid.
Okay.
So these subjects are done in clinics. We do also hygiene.
Okay, so that's also done in third year.
Which is also a clinical subject, and skin diseases, which are also clinical subjects.
И кредиты меньше. Вы изучали меньше кредитов.
And if you compare the credits done by Chinese universities and by recognized Belarusian universities, you'll see the difference, which is huge. That's why
Hours-wise, yes.
offering you to an opportunity that the Gomel State Medical University will accept your hours in anatomy, in physiology, in pharmacology, without making you pay more money for our subjects.
Okay, got it.
For your credits, your zero credits, and in replacement, you'll get clinical hours free. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah, clinical hours and Russian language.
Yes. Yes, Russian language. Okay, thank you.
Then any more questions in that case?
There's a question, if they transfer, they can do AMC USMLE. Yes, you can. I mean, no problem.
Those things are no big issues. Only Sri Lanka Medical Council has the strict rules other countries. Because anyway, they have to pass their own country's exam. So if you have passed that exam, that means you have enough knowledge to practice that.
Can I also ask for
Yeah, sure.
the, is it possible to apply for USMLE from Gomel University, or are they giving us a like another program to do or something like that? Are there help programs for USMLE or other
USMLE actually from, if you are going through IMC, we do work with lecturer and Kaplan both. So they do offer training for USMLE. We can help you out if you are going to IMC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to know.
Yeah, we are providing it as additional service.
Our university is recognized by ECFMG. So
yes, yes, yes.
Where you come from. So you apply, you follow like a standard procedure, but of course the agency may help you with the preparation for the examination because it has two phases and it's rather difficult.
And also, what's your good name? The question.
I'm Krishmiri Fernando.
Krishmi, right?
Krishmiri.
Krishmari. Okay, so like Miss Marina showed during the presentation, and it is accredited by IAAR, which is an independent agency accredited by WFME. So Gomel is a IAR WFME accredited university. So according to the latest rule in USA under ECFMG, you can straight away fall into pathway 3, right? Pathway 3 offer a lot of benefits for the students. If you go to such an accredited university without any internship, you can complete USMLE and apply for the matching program. According to the latest rule from 2023, if you go to a university which is not accredited by IAAR, you have to do an internship, get a registration in a particular country, and then apply for a matching process. So you save time if you go to Gomel State Medical University, if you are willing to apply to US.
So IAR, the abbreviation you said, is recognized, but Gomel is recognized by it.
Yeah, yeah. Miss Marina during her presentation, she showed that.
Okay.
Okay. They got it.
I knew about the ECFMG, but I didn't know.
I think they got it in November 2021.
Oh, that may be it.
Yeah. Okay. So straight away you can apply for under pathway 3. Otherwise, if you go to ordinary university, you have to apply under pathway 1, where you have to do an internship in a particular country, get the registration as a practicing doctor in a particular country. Otherwise, you can't apply for the matching process.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And one student is asking the intake. We are working on September intake.
I also like to give a comment, yeah?
Sure,
Can
sure.
I give?
Sure, sure. Ms. Marina.
Yes, as we are planning the number of teachers, and it takes time to issue and get the invitation letters certified and approved by the immigration authorities. I advise the students to make up their minds as soon as possible, because we need to plan these holiday periods. And this time, like maybe 2-3 weeks, which are needed for the execution and certification of the immigration letters, because we submit a lot of documents for each student, you know this, yeah? Then we have to provide the originals and the copies to the consular office of our national airports. So the sooner we start, the better. So the students may come by mid-July to start their new life here, to get adapted, to take this crash course in Russian, to get to know the members of the Sri Lankan community, you know, to find out about the city, the facilities, etc. So the earlier they come, the better. And we have more time to arrange the programs and the courses to tailor them for the students' needs.
So students, actually, you have to apply fast and provide us with the necessary documents, and then we can go ahead and make sure that you are there in advance for the September intake, right? So you can talk to relevant counselors that you had contacted at IMC. And I think the questions, do we have any more questions? One question is there, Ms. Mara, do we have to do only a theory exam, or do we have to face practical exams too?
Экзамен только теория, правильно? Exams
Only
only
theory
theory.
exam.
Only
Because
theory exam.
Then that's it, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then thank you, Svetlana Anatolievna, Vice Rector of Gomez State Medical University, and Miss Marina, for your valuable time. Hope everyone is now clear. And thank you, Amila and IMC.
Thanks a lot,
Yes,
Miss
we can-
Marina
okay,
and Madam Svetlana. Thanks a lot for your time. And we'll hope for the best. I think everyone is clear now. So you will get a conditional offer if you are a senior student. You will get a conditional offer saying that you pass the exam. You will be able to continue, right?
Okay then, bye.
Okay then. Okay.
And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you. There's one more question just now. Could you please explain what's for the third year students? Do we have to start from third year? No, right? From the second year onwards, you have to start, right? Okay, thank you very much.